Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure
Okay.
because that just annoys me because I am obviously let me see if my app got updated today. Be interesting to see. All right. Well, the show will start in approximately a minute 40, and we'll go live on the radio, and then we'll get this rolling. For anybody, I don't know, nobody's watching, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I'm usually watching. I'm not logged in yet.
Yeah, it did. It updated today.
Yep.
Son of a bitch. Welcome to the new Starbucks Rewards. It's an exciting new program that gives members more stars based on what you buy. No, fuck off.
More star. Well, it does give you more stars. They're just worth less.
They're worth a lot less, like a fifth of what they were
Yeah.
worth.
So you do get more stars. You get 2 stars per dollar versus 1 star per
Well,
item.
let's see how many stars I have. Let's see if they increased my star balance based on purchases or whether I have the same amount of stars
Tell
as
me if you can get
yesterday.
in. It won't let me log in. It keeps saying it's updating. Oh no, I guess I am in. I have 59 stars until my next star reward.
I have
So
55 stars and I have 70 more to get until my next reward. Fuck Starbucks.
yeah, I have
Asshole.
66.
Pisses me off.
Look at this funky
70
graphic though.
fucking stars.
It rains
Screw them.
stars into your cup. All right, whatever. I haven't had Starbucks in forever
Assholes.
because I was drinking a little much of the sweet tea and got a little chunky, so I had to cut back.
Here we go. All right. Good evening. This is Tech Talk. I'm Alex. I have Danielle in the Google Hangout on video, so jump over to YouTube if you want to see the lovely Danielle. Hi, Danny.
Hello.
I'm pissed off right now, actually, because Danielle reminded me about the changes with Starbucks, and I
I did
checked
do
my.
that.
Oh man, I'm so annoyed, Danielle. I really am.
I know.
Um, well, let's explain it real quick. It used to be so. I'm a Gold Rewards member, I believe. Danielle, you're a Gold Rewards
I
member.
am as well, yes.
Okay. Um, and all this means is that you go to Starbucks, you make a purchase, you earn a star effectively. And after 12 stars, after earning 12 stars, you would earn a reward. It could be a free drink or some food or something like that. And it was you get 1 star every time you visited a Starbucks. Now, in order to keep so it was 12 stars to earn a reward, and then each year you had to earn 30 stars total to keep your gold status. Well, now Starbucks, in their infinite wisdom, have changed that. They said their number one request from their users is that they want to earn more stars before they get a freebie, which is
Ludicrous.
bullshit. Yeah, it's absolute bullshit is what it is. It's an absolute lie. That was not the number one request at all. Oh yeah, we want to spend 10 times more money at Starbucks. So now in order to earn a free reward, I have to earn 70, what is it, 100 and wait a second. It says I have 55 and I need 70 more to reach my next reward. So that's 135 stars to earn a free reward. And I have to earn 300 stars in a year in order to keep my gold membership active. So it's gone from 12 and 30 to 150 and 300. It's absolute crap.
Yeah.
Piss me off. And they've updated the app. I don't know where anything is. I'm looking at it and it makes no sense. Whatever. Now I'm just annoyed now. So that's what this show's going to be like. Me pissed. You know what? Before we go any further, let me see if I can get Steven on the phone because it's his birthday. And I do want to say happy birthday to him. We're going out Saturday to
Oh, that's fun.
7 Oh, I guess I shouldn't read out his number, right?
Maybe put it up on the screen.
I don't want to put him on full blast, as Flossie would say.
Get the trolls on him.
Yeah.
We have a watcher.
Is it even working?
Did you hit dial?
Yeah, I hit dial. Oh, there it goes. Wow, that took a while to connect.
Hello.
Steven.
Yes. Hey.
Hey, it's Al. We're on
Hey, man.
we're on the air. I wanted to
Oh, okay.
call and say happy birthday.
Happy
Oh, thanks.
birthday.
There's Danielle saying happy birthday.
Hey, Danny.
You had a good
Hey.
day?
Yeah, just trying to get out of work.
Oh, you're still there?
Yep, but
Yeah.
I'll be leaving in just a minute.
Mm-hmm. Anything planned for this evening?
Bradley's gonna cook me a nice steak dinner,
Oh, lovely.
and then maybe I'll watch a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Damn right. JCVD, steak, a blowjob, and some JCVD.
The gold standard.
Absolutely. That's a night right there.
Yep.
All right. All right, brother. Well, we'll let you get out of work. I just wanted to say happy birthday. And
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
no problem.
Happy
I'll see you
birthday,
soon.
buddy.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Danny. See you guys.
Bye.
All right. That's that. All right. So what am I
Job.
going to talk? Yeah, job. Yeah. So I'm annoyed at Starbucks. So
Hey,
let's-
while
let's-
we're annoyed, let's talk about the Senate
Yeah,
anti-safety
as well, right?
on your devices bill.
Yeah. Now, do you recall the name of this? It's the Court Order Compliance Act, or something ridiculous
Yes.
like that. Yeah. All right.
I think that's
And
actually
this
what
is
it is.
this is left coast Nazi Dianne Feinstein and right coast redneck Richard Burr from North Carolina, who were both on the is it the Senate Armed Service Senate Select Intelligence Committee, right?
Yes.
Which is an absolute oxymoron, because when you look at this bill, neither of them are very fucking intelligent. So this is a bill that's been drafted and it's a direct response to Apple's battle with the FBI. It touches on encryption. And Apple, when all this started, Apple said these are our reasons why a backdoor is bad for everybody. And so Richard Burr leaked this. Senator Burr leaked this bill, saying it's a draft text, and it's obviously a work in progress. And the bill does not specify that technology companies have to provide a backdoor to the government. What it does say is that if they are given a court order, they have to be able to provide the data requested to the government or to the court, whomever requests the data, I guess. Which it's the same thing. In order to access that data, they have to build in a backdoor. But they're arguing, oh, well, no, we're not mandating a backdoor. We're just mandating that they have access to the information, which is perfectly feasible, by the way. There's this isn't impossible. Apple actually do this with data stored in iCloud. Apple hold the private key to that, and they have access to everybody's data in the cloud. They don't have access to your phone, and there's no way they can gain access to the phone. And even though the FBI broke into that iPhone 5C, they have confirmed the method they used will not work on anything newer than a 5C. That's good to know. So Feinstein and Burr have, or Feinstein, whatever it is, who cares? They've drafted this bill which completely ignores how encryption works. It shows that they have zero understanding of mathematics and encryption, because encryption is math. You can't change it, right?
Right.
If you break it, it's broken. You can't break it a little bit and hope that nobody catches on. Once you change the arithmetic, that's it. Encryption is done. And effectively what this bill is doing, in a roundabout way, is outlawing unbreakable encryption. Not only, by the way, for manufacturers, so this won't apply to Apple and Google, it also applies to software developers. So any application, and it applies twofold to Apple, by the way, because any application in their app store, they are actually held liable for, in addition to the developer of that application. So there's double jeopardy right there for Apple. So WhatsApp, for example, which just owned by Facebook, just implemented end-to-end encryption. that they have no backdoor for. They have no way of cracking. Not only would WhatsApp be responsible for being able to provide that data, Apple, according to this bill, this is how poorly written this bill is, Apple would also be responsible for providing the data from within WhatsApp to the government if they're requested, because it resides on their app store.
And they literally have no way to get it.
None whatsoever.
Correct.
And that is way out of Apple's hands. I mean, that you're talking about a third-party developer who developed the app, who implemented the encryption and don't have access to the data themselves. And the government now wants to hold Apple liable for that, or Google, by the way, because it applies to any app in the Play Store. The government wants to hold Apple, Google, whomever responsible for the actions of a third-party developer. Now, obviously, the end result of this would be no apps in the App Store, because your bank account app has to be encrypted to be secure, right? While Apple, if it's encrypted and the government's going to hold Apple liable for that encryption, Apple would just kick it out of the App Store. Or the bank will remake the app with no encryption, which for a banking app is the worst idea possible. Right. This is how stupid and inane this bill is. This is how little thought these intelligence committee bozos put into these bills. It makes no sense whatsoever. Everything that we rely on encryption for will be broken or banned or illegal, including your Bank of America or Wells Fargo app. Right. If it's encrypted, it not only that, but think about the implications to the World Wide Web. If you're accessing a securely encrypted website, is that then also, does that come under the same purview? Does that mean we already have a problem with HTTP or HTML encryption as it is with weak 40-bit encryption, which was cracked, almost immediately? While the sites that have implemented 128-bit encryption, is that traffic then subject to these same rules? In which case they have to be able to provide the unencrypted data to the government upon demand. Well, that means they're going to have to make encrypted websites insecure in order to be able to get access to that data. I mean, the implications are huge and terrifying.
Following the development of this at all, or did you just read what came out at first and then just realize that it was, because the White House has just completely jumped off. Like, the White House has abandoned this thing. And the reason that I asked that is because people are coming out like one after the other, or organizations are, and just saying that they're vocally not backing this thing.
Yeah. Well, the White House hasn't said one way or the other. They've said we're not going to support it. We're not going to oppose it. They want the debate to occur. They're playing both sides. They're sitting on the fence, right? They want to see which side of public opinion it comes down on before they say, "Oh yeah, we told you it was a bad idea," or "Oh yeah, we told you it was a great idea."
Engadget they refused to publicly support it. I guess they didn't.
Right, but you have to remember that our government, since its inception, our government has been opposed to encryption.
Right.
With the advent of encrypted telephone calls and backdoors with Ma Bell, the ban on 128-bit encryption in the United States, which was eventually lifted, but then turned into a ban on the export of 128-bit encryption to any other country, which again has since been lifted because obviously encryption is a 256-bit encryption now. Hell, even 512-bit encryption is available all over the world. So those bans were remarkably ineffective. Obviously, they thought they could they could stem the flow of information and technology, and I think obviously that's a failing endeavor before it even begins. So this is going to be another one of those useless endeavors because there will always be a workaround. I can download an app. I could download PGP, which is an acronym for Pretty Good Privacy. It's a encryption app where I hold a private key and I have a public key, and I can send emails to people. I can include that public key. They can return an email to me, and only I can decrypt it with my private key. Okay? I can secure my private key with a password in my head, which I don't write down anywhere else, which is then protected by the Fifth Amendment. So this still doesn't give the government what they're after, because I cannot be compelled to provide them a password that's in my head to decrypt my data. I can always encrypt my data, no matter what Apple and Google or the government try to do. My ability, I should say, to encrypt my data is there, will always be there, and will never get taken away from me. And there's not a court order on the face of this planet that can compel me to provide to the government a password that is only stored in my head. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's not a court order in America that can compel me to, because I'm protected by the Fifth Amendment. Do you see? So yes, whatever they do is going to be a losing battle. First of all, it will only apply in the United States. It's not going to apply anywhere else in the world. So it's not going to, a terrorist with his phone in Islamabad, for example, is going to have his data encrypted. If he flies to America, are they going to refuse him entry because he has an encrypted cell phone? No, of course they're not. They're going to let him in. They're not going to impede a person's right to travel. So a terrorist is still going to have an encrypted freaking cell phone. Whatever applications they use on their cell phone to encrypt their data, they will continue to use, because these are going to be applications that are far out of reach of the likes of Google or Apple. Right? It's like PGP, or there's another one, GPG. They took PGP and switched the initials. That's called GPG is I believe it's under the GNU open source license, GNU privacy, whatever it is. But it's the same thing. Everybody has access to this. You can encrypt any data you choose. You can encrypt email, messages, photographs, anything you choose. You can encrypt, send it to somebody. If they have the public key, they'll be out. They can read this thing, and if they send anything back to you, you can decrypt it with your private key. So it's a stupid bill. There's no thought has been put into it. No consideration of what I believe to be true public safety, i.e. people's personal financial information, your email, your photograph, anything that you would consider private. They haven't considered any of that. They've just said, oh, you have to be able to provide us data basically on a whim, not a whim, upon a court order. Well, okay, easier said than done if you plan on keeping people safe. So basically for the sake of public safety, they're going to break public safety, and it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Pisses me off, annoys me. Everything's annoying me today.
Yeah, that's why I figured we'd go ahead and get that one out of the way. Because that one's annoying.
I got annoyed this morning on the morning show. I'm just going to do this real quick. We got a couple of minutes before a break. I'm just going to stretch this out. Oz Nesbitt was here this morning. He's running for commission chairman. And nice guy, nice enough guy, but he was being asked questions, and he was giving two answers to the same question, playing both sides. Well, all right, I'm going to do the unthinkable and call myself a journalist. As a journalist, it's my job to listen to his answers and formulate a response. And there were two besides Scott, who was running the show. There were two other people in the studio today who should have been able to come up with this question. They should have heard Oz's answers and been able to say, wait a second, something's not right there. The answer can't be both. The answer only has to be one. So I ended up calling in, and I said, Oz, on the one hand, you're saying your hands are tied and you haven't been able to get anything done because of the current chairman. And when somebody questions you on that, you then go on to say that, well, you obviously haven't looked at what Oz Nesbitt's been doing because he's been out there every day getting things done. It's one or the other. Either your hands are tied and you have got nothing done, or you've been out there every day and you have accomplishments. So let's clear this up, because obviously people are asking this question. That should have been up to somebody in the studio to do that. Well, we have debates coming up, right? We have the 2016 leadership debates coming up, and I'm one of the moderators. I believe Mike is supposed to be a moderator there as well. And that means they're going to have to listen to the answers to questions so they can pose follow-ups. And I don't know what's going to happen. I guess we'll have to see. Anyway, I am going to take this break. I'll talk more about the debates when we get back.
Okay.
But yeah, it was, I had to call in because nobody's asking the question. And Mike was actually almost like defending Oz.
Really?
Yeah. He's saying, well, anybody that thinks you've done nothing for 8 years hasn't been paying attention. Well, he said himself. He sat there, Oz sat there on mic and said for himself, I haven't gotten anything done in 8 years because my hands have been tied by a My Way or the Highway chairman. So, I mean, when the man himself says I haven't been able to accomplish anything, and listeners are sending in questions asking him, well, then why should we believe you're going to get anything accomplished now? It's not, I don't believe as a journalist, Mike needs to sit there and say, well, anybody that says that hasn't been paying attention.
Because they were paying attention. That's what he said.
I like Oz, and the whole point of my question is, and I said, okay, if what you're implying is that post 1 and post 2 commission seats are impotent positions. If that's the case, as chairman, how do you plan to change that? Are you going to integrate them into your administration and let them work in the policy and decision making? And Oz thought that was a good question, and he said, yes, that's what I want to do. So the man himself said that his hands have been tied and he's been able to get nothing done. And Mike's sitting there saying, oh, well, anybody that thinks that hasn't been paying attention. Well, yes, we have. This from a guy. It just annoyed me. We're going into debate. We're going into debates, and Mike didn't even know that there were 7 candidates running for post 1. He said, "Oh, I didn't know anybody was running for post 1." So you've done no research whatsoever. Done no preparation and no research whatsoever. I'm going to be left there carrying these debates by myself.
When are the debates?
April 23rd.
Oh, God, I wish I could come down. That would be so fun.
Yeah, no, it would be. It would have been a blast.
But alas, I have to work. During the 4 months we don't have snow.
Yeah.
People actually buy houses.
No shit.
I mean, we still have snow now, but
it just kind of, I'm sorry, it just kind of irritated me. I apologize. Let's see. Check the massages and see if anyone's saying anything.
Oh. So Coachella is going to be streaming live for a couple of days next week. That should make you feel better.
No, that's going to be the worst thing on the face of the planet.
Come on now.
Well, it is.
The worst thing?
Yeah. Now, is it streaming on Apple TV again? Is Apple going to be streaming it?
YouTube.
Just on YouTube? That's where it belongs, probably.
There are 3 live stream channels. And then there's going to be a video on demand hub where you go and find clips that you want to watch.
Oh, really?
And look, there's Kita Burger outside.
Who's playing? Do they have a... Hey, look at him. He's out on his deck.
I know. It doesn't look cold there. It's like 30 degrees on my deck.
Come and join me on my.
Who's that? Do we have company?
No, don't do it to me.
Oh.
Serious?
I don't know what just happened.
You're evil.
I
Stop
was
it.
I was showing.
Wait. Okay, there we go.
No.
Okay, one more time. I have you blown up now. I can see. Hey.
And turn your phone
oh,
the
look
other
how
way.
cute you are. Nice to meet
Oh.
you.
I'm in psycho mode.
turn-
Hold on. There we go.
Yeah,
Nice
there you
to
go.
Talking about you.
What are you guys doing?
We're just sitting out on the deck.
Oh, it looks lovely there.
It is.
Listening to
Look.
Quincy Plays for Pussycats. And we have this.
Nice. I love it. That's awesome.
All right. Well, we are on a break, so this is good. What is that? What was that?
What? It wasn't. I don't
It looked
think
like
What
there
we
was a
call-
box.
It's
An album.
Quincy Plays for Pussycats.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's fabulous.
Here. Do you prefer
Oh,
this one?
here's the.
Here's.
It's not focusing.
Very-
What is it?
No, he's
it's
too
for-
far away from his hub, so he's got a real slow data connection. Is
Oh,
what
maybe
is.
Cats. All of them.
So we're
Uh,
trying to herd cats now.
You're what?
We're trying to herd cats.
Oh, the wild ones.
Yeah, we need to get them in and get them fixed because they're spreading.
Oh.
Spreading.
Yeah. Apparently, I have slutty cats.
Imagine that. Loose kitties.
So are we on YouTube commercial?
We are,
Yeah,
yes.
we're on
a break.
We're on a commercial break. Into the Mystic is playing.
So how are you hurting your cats?
Well, we're at this point. We're at the planning phase.
Oh, okay.
Although my neighbor Skip, who you know,
I do know
As-
Skip.
a trap, and so
Okay.
I'm looking at getting the trap and figuring out the timing on how to, capture a cat without like having it in the trap for like 24 hours.
Right. Huh.
And I have to only do that like about 8 times.
Without the cats figuring out from watching their friends get captured
Yes.
not to go into the trap.
Yeah. But if that's the only food I put out, I'm thinking.
So speaking of traps, you guys will appreciate this story. So we had a mouse in the house. So Kurt bought one of those cute little like plastic covered traps that Keith you used to buy for me to have at my house that I would just put in a Kroger bag and throw away, and then you would bring another trap for another mouse. I never knew they were actually reusable. So when we caught a mouse here and I threw the trap away, Kurt was like, "So where's the trap?" I was like, "Well, it caught a mouse. What do you mean, where is it?"
It's served its function.
Done. It's done. I told you we caught a mouse, honey. What do you mean? It's in the trash. Yeah. So I got a quick little lesson on how those really aren't disposable.
I mean, there's nothing saying they have to be.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't take the mouse out of the trap.
Yeah, no shit.
No.
I'm not touching a dead mouse, so I
No.
don't care.
No.
But that's wrong. It's a dead mouse.
Yeah. Pamela had a dead squirrel in her. A dead
has-
chipmunk.
It was.
Squirrel. Oh,
It was once I pulled it out.
Okay.
30 seconds.
squirrel. In her
30.
dryer.
30 seconds.
Okay, we're going back on the air in 30 seconds.
All right.
I'll finish up with the debates. I want to talk about the event I did this weekend, where I played an actual MC. By the way, I had to do the all the thank yous and the raffle and shit like that. It was fun.
Oh my.
And I'll talk about the wonderful prize that somebody else won and gave to me.
One of my friends actually watches.
All right, we're back. Keith has joined us. He's in the Hangout, Google Hangout, with his young lady friend.
Young?
We're on the radio now, so well, I guess behave however you want. It doesn't really matter.
Don't any more than Alex does.
Right. Well, let's get back to these debates real quick. Those are the 2016 Rockdale County leadership debates are taking place on April 23rd at the VFW at 5:30 p.m. I believe. Just for Fun is going to be there. Scott will be emceeing, and hopefully he's going to be. We've got the rules. The rules and the format have been agreed upon by the candidates. Now we need to figure out the moderation and the format of the debate itself. Here's my vision of the debate. I'll moderate the debates. There'll be, I think, three of us, three moderators at the table. I've done Oxford debates, so I figure that's the closest thing to a political debate. So I think I'll moderate the rules and I'll run the show. Scott will be in the audience to take audience questions. So basically, he'll be my what's that show, American Idol, right? He'll be who's the pretty boy on American Idol?
Simon. Oh wait.
No, Ryan. Right? He'll be Ryan Seacrest, and I'll be the Simon Cowell of the debates because I'm the grumpy British guy, and I'll be And now, of course, I'll abstain from asking any of my own questions during the sheriff's debate because of my links to Sheriff Levitt. But I'll be asking my own questions and questions sourced from other people during the commission chairman and the Post 1 debate. Post 1 has 7 candidates running this year. 2 of them have been on my show already. I plan on getting some more. Hopefully next week I'll get a group of them in here. We'll see. Which will be bad for me because it will be a room full of Democrats, and
oh my,
you know how that'll go. So I don't know. We'll see. So we need to finalize the format. I think Scott and I are on the same page. We'll get with everybody else hopefully Wednesday this week and figure out the rest of it. But my plan is to run a very civil and informative debate with no personal attacks, no unfounded allegations or anything like that, and try to keep it clean. We don't want it to be a MSNBC or CNN type debacle. We want it to be a Fox style debacle. Anyway, and speaking of the sheriff, we did an event this weekend. It was Bikers for Levitt. It was a poker run, which I had no idea what this was until Saturday. Eddie, do you guys know what a poker run is with motorcycles?
No.
All right. Well, anyway, they take decks of cards to different locations, and then the bikers ride around and they pick up one card at each location, then come back, and whoever has the best hand wins a prize, which was I think a weekend away in Panama City or something like that. But there was also a raffle going on, and I ended up being the MC for the raffle. Got up on stage with there was a band there and everything. Very good band, by the way. There was a band there, and at the end of the day, I did the drawing and did all the thank yous and that kind of nonsense. It was fun. And I'm a surprisingly good public speaker, I found. I thought I was going to suck, but I think I did all right. I was there filming. I took my drone, my Phantom quadcopter, whatever you want to call it, unmanned aerial vehicle, the FAA call them. I took my drone with me, and I was filming, and it was the windiest day you could possibly imagine, right? It was crazy windy. So I waited probably 3 hours into the event before I put the drone up in the sky, and it was flopping around all over the place, and I got some reasonably good footage. And then I noticed there was an update. I noticed there was an update for the drone, and one of the things it said was stability improvements in high winds. So I downloaded the update, slapped it on there. It took about an hour to update everything, which is crazy, by the way, DJI. It should be a lot quicker and easier than that. Ate through half of a battery just updating the firmware. So I did that, and I swear it actually made a huge difference. In the same wind, I flew it up, and it was virtually stable. It was now it was tilted at 45 degrees to stop being pushed, out of the sky. But yeah, it was a lot more stable. So I got some pretty good film of that. They had these little three-wheeled cars. These little they're made by Polaris, and they're called Slingshots. They have a 2.3 liter Ecotec engine in them, and man, they are fast. I was taking people out for rides in that, and I broke a few rules while I was at. Took a deputy out, and took a deputy's mom out, and stuff like that. And they came back a little bit scared, which was fun.
Do you have a motorcycle license for those?
I believe you're supposed to.
You're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to wear a helmet as well, apparently. And nobody
tells
you about these rules.
Want to wear a helmet? You wear a helmet. If you don't want to wear, I don't have.
We're losing you completely, Keith. You're. I think because you're outside, you're too far away from your router, and so you're just cutting in and out. Now, one of the prizes in the raffle was a free day's rental for one of these Slingshots, and a friend won actually he won, I think, like 6 prizes in the raffle. I'm glad I wasn't drawing the tickets out because he won so many prizes, but one of them was this free one-day rental for a Slingshot, which he gave to me. He said, here, you can use it. I thought, oh,
fun.
Brilliant. Yeah, so I'll use that for a day. So it was a lot of fun. It was a good event. It was a very good event. We enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun. And so yeah, the next thing will be the debates, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it goes well. Like I said, I want to run a good, issues-based debate. Questions from obviously the moderators and the public. I've got a posting up for people to send me questions. Indicate who the question is for. Whether it's for one of the candidates for chairman. Bear in mind it will only be Oz Nesbitt and R.J. Hadley at the chairman's debate, as our current chairman has decided he's not going to go to the debate. Brilliant.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It'll be Oz and R.J. Who I think it's going to be a good debate because they're both very good public speakers. We're not going to miss the chairman. We're not going to miss him. I think Oz is going to win this election anyway. So there's not really much point in Odin being there, to be honest with you.
Wait, the current guy's running again and he's not coming to the debate?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't go anywhere. He never goes out in public. It's like he's invisible. I've only ever spoken to him once. We talked for an hour or so on the phone one time. And we were talking. It was about the sheriff's department budget we were talking about. I've never seen him anywhere. I've never seen him ever. He wasn't at the Cherry Blossom Festival. I don't know what he does. I really don't. Yeah, he's the invisible man. Oz is out in public all the time. Hell, I see Oz at Starbucks. We bump into each other and talk at Starbucks. And RJ, RJ's been coming out a bit more lately since the campaign season has kicked off. Since the thing with the tag for Terry, the license plate for Terry Mahaffey, RJ came out for that. So yeah, I think Oz. Yeah, I happen to think he's got it pretty much sewn up, to be honest with you. But we'll see. The debate is going to be. It would be an issues-based debate with questions relevant to citizens of Rockdale County, and they'll both have an opportunity to answer those questions. Oz comes on to Just for Fun, and again, not just during this election season. He comes on throughout the year. So Oz is a friend of the show. He's and I like Oz. In all honesty, I mean he's a Democrat, but It's only Democrats running, so again, no offense,
Can't all
no
be
offense to
perfect.
anybody else. So it's the lesser of the evils, if you ask me. But yeah, the chairman has decided not to be there, and I don't know. People will make of that what they choose. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
People will formulate their own opinions on that he's not going to be there, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's move on. Twitter. Let's talk about Twitter and football. Not that I'm not a big fan of football. Don't watch football, but I am a fan of Twitter. Now, the NFL is starting Thursday night games, and Twitter have won the streaming rights for these football games. Have a guess what it cost them.
Wait, what do you mean they're starting Thursday night games? They've had Thursday night games.
Have they? Okay, well then Twitter have won the rights to stream this season's Thursday night games.
I don't know if you meant starting like now, and I'm thinking that's a really early season. Okay, sorry.
No, I thought this season was like the first season. Well, I don't watch football, so I figured this season was the first season for NFL Thursday night games. Apparently not. But Twitter have won the online exclusive right to stream the games.
I can't imagine what that costs. Literally can't imagine.
And what are they streaming? Are they streaming podcast?
They'll be I mean, it'll be online somehow. I imagine through a portal you access through Twitter. I'm not entirely sure of the details of that, the technical details of that. But when I heard that they'd won the right to stream these games, I was thinking at least $100 million.
Right.
Because the NFL's not cheap, right? When the networks bid on NFL games, they're talking hundreds of millions. So I was thinking, it's going to be similar for streaming. Cost them $10 million.
What?
Yeah, all it cost them was $10 million. Now here's why I think that was. The number one demographic that the NFL wants to hit are people under 40 years old. Primarily, they're after people under 35 years old, right? Because they've proven to stay engaged with the games more, pay more attention to the commercials, while they're drinking and eating. You all right, Keith? We're just getting okay. I don't know if we've lost Keith or not. So these under 35s are like the prime audience for the NFL. Well, it just turns out that Twitter's primary demographic are 35 and under. So I think the reason they got such a good deal is because they provide the exact
perfect demographic.
Yeah, like spot on, deadly. The precise demographic that the NFL is looking for to watch the games. And I think that's why they got it so cheap.
Right.
I don't know, I think it's great. It's great for Twitter. Hell, it's a huge boon for Twitter. Now, especially when you consider that Twitter's growth has stagnated, right? Keith, all I'm getting is a bunch of feedback from you, man. I'm going to mute you for a second until you can get situated. So Twitter's user base has, I don't know if he's muted or not. Twitter's user base has kind of stagnated. They're experiencing, they may even be experiencing a drop-off. So this not only could benefit the NFL and Twitter, but it could bring a hell of a lot of users to
back to Twitter. You think?
Yeah. If it's your only source, Keith's back.
Mm-hmm.
I had to switch to the iPad.
Okay, cool. If it's your only source to watch the games online, I think. From what I understand, you will not have to have a Twitter account in order to stream the games, but I imagine they're going to put you through some kind of Twitter portal to where people are going to sign up, right? You would think.
I don't even know how Twitter streaming works. Are they streaming stuff now? Am I behind on this thing?
Not that I've ever seen.
Okay.
I've never seen them streaming anything of any substance. I mean, I always see videos on Twitter, but I imagine they're going to for example, when they did the Olympic Games, right? When the Olympics were on, Twitter set up a special portal for the Olympic Games where you could meet with the athletes and you could see clips from events and stuff like that, and it was really well done. Okay, the way they managed it was it was a very clever. Hold on a second. What the hell?
What's wrong?
I don't know what I'm doing here. Sorry. I got Keith's microphone muted and it won't unmute. Keith, do me a favor, back out and come back in. I'm sorry, I lost my entire train of thought. So anyway, the way they set it up for the Olympic Games, it was perfect. It was always at the top of Twitter. There was a special section you could go to get updates on the Olympics, talk with the athletes. Whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Tweet to them and look at them. Links to videos of their events and things like that. I imagine they're going to set up something similar, but then with an outside link to a server they've set up for streaming of the games. That's what I think they're going to do. Is he back? Yes, he is.
Yes,
okay,
he just got in.
Am I muted?
No, we can hear you.
No, you're not. We can hear the cackling.
Oh, yes, that
Sorry.
would not be me.
That's not me either.
So, yeah, they handled it very well. I imagine they're going to do the same thing with this NFL streaming. I don't know. I'm interested.
So they're actually
I don't even
streaming the entire game?
Yeah, they'll be streaming the entire game online. Again, I don't think it will be inside well, it might be even inside the Twitter app. Who knows how they're going to set it up?
Yeah,
like I said, I haven't seen that. I've yet to see the technical details of that yet. All I know is the outline. You're not required to have a Twitter account, and Twitter will be the only place online that you'll be able to stream the game. So it's kind of cool. Oh, I believe Oz.
I know there's tons of folks.
I think Oz. By the way, I think Oz is on the way to the studio right now to come in and sit down. So
really,
this is funny. Yeah. I think he just said, I'm trying to get to the studio.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's brilliant. See, this is what I'm saying. This guy is out and about. He's always doing something. This is why I think he's going to win it. He said something. He was saying this morning. I'm out and about so often that people actually think I'm already the chairman. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
All right, that's.
I find it odd that they're even offering a streaming NFL thing. I think a lot of people would love it from the college level. I think the NFL is kind of already out there, you know.
Well, again, you see, the demographic they want, or the ones they want, are the under 40s or under 35s. They're the ones that buy the jerseys. They're the ones that are, you know, super passionate about their teams. They're the ones that are at bars, you know, 12 hours on a Saturday watching football.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But so many of those have cut the cord. So many of those people now no longer they're not watching regular television. They don't have a cable subscription. And this is an opportunity for the NFL to get a big chunk of those people back into football. So
how is that going to affect DirecTV? Because, you know, DirecTV has a huge foothold in NFL viewership.
I agree. We've got a break, and we'll discuss that when we get back, because, yeah, I think it's actually going to have a real negative effect. I think it's going to have a real negative effect on other providers. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Sorry, I was looking to see what Snapchat has an ESPN feed.
That's funny. I just got a message from Oz. He says, "What time's your show over?" I said 9:30. He said, "Okay, I'm trying to get there." I'm like, awesome. All right, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
That is awesome. But yeah, I wonder if Twitter is, I don't know, if Snapchat is giving Twitter a run for its money as far as that demographic.
I think Snapchat has a lower age demographic.
Yeah.
It's a teenage thing.
Yeah, I think Snapchat is more the 13 to
18.
25.
I disagree.
Area.
If you look at their live feeds.
Yeah, their live feeds are.
Yeah, they're trying to expand.
I mean, they've got National Geographic, CNN, People, ESPN.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just think that's them
always,
trying.
Here, let's Google Snapchat
they always
demo.
put together their live feeds are always based on people's Snapchats from different events, and it's
Right.
always adult-based events that I see. 54% are aged over 18. Yeah, so the majority, 54% are. Wait, that ain't right. That might be Instagram. Let me open
Yeah,
this page.
that would surprise me for Snapchat. Although there are a number of celebrities that are starting to do Snapchat and keep in touch and.
Okay, so 26% of 18 to 29-year-olds report using Snapchat.
I've got
a number that plummets to 5% among 30 to 49-year-olds. That's funny.
Business Insider, what are you looking at? What?
I'm looking at marketingcharts.com.
Business Insider says Snapchat, Vine, and Tumblr had by far the most youthful user base in social networks. 45% of Snapchat's adult users are between 18 and 24.
Really? Yeah, see, this is saying 26% are between 18 and 29.
Well, yeah. I mean, but those are different statistics. This is saying that of their adult users, 45% are between 18 and 20. Anyway.
Yeah,
yeah, so yes, they are a younger demographic.
Yeah, it makes sense. This one goes out to age 29, so that may be the drop-off right there. Right. They're cutting theirs off at 24, which is a higher percentage.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only reason I'm on Snapchat is to stalk Drea, because it creeps her out a little bit.
Oh,
I'll be like, dude, did you turn in that paper? She's like, wait, what? It was on Snapchat.
I have a Snapchat, but I rarely use it. Now, here's it says here 43% of 18 to 29-year-old cell phone users report using Instagram, but that rate drops to 18% between 30 and 49 years old, and that surprises me, to be honest, because Instagram is a kind of an artsy photography type thing, and I figured that would be more. That would be more appealing to older users.
Yeah, older people eat and they have to Instagram their food.
Yeah, or it didn't happen.
That's right.
I wonder how old that statistic is, though.
I have to Instagram every Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
Or in my case, every Guinness poured into a non-Guinness glass.
Yeah. These actually, Danny, these are from 2013, so that may be substantially higher now.
Yes.
This weekend would work out. With her kid posting them.
Interesting.
Going to your 11-year-old video.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the reasons I came back a day early.
I just won some jeans on eBay in case anybody was wondering.
What did you? I'm sorry. You did what now?
Won some jeans on eBay.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Nice.
You're about to get into someone else's pants?
I'm in somebody else's pants as we. I'm in a boy's pants as we speak.
We spoke about you when I said we were just talking about you. It was about you being in jeans and shopping at Plato's Closet with Keith. We just talked about
And I told her how I picked out a pair of jeans.
The first pair.
And I said, here's your jeans, and you proceeded to go through the entire store.
Yep.
until you got back to the jeans that I picked.
I don't think you were ever wrong. I was thinking about that the other day, as a matter of fact. I don't think you were ever wrong. You're like a savant.
So if we go shopping, I should just trust him?
Just don't even argue. Don't bother.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Don't even bother.
It was not more than 10 minutes.
That's hysterical.
I was telling her, because we were sitting out on the deck, I was telling her about the time that you, me, and Shannon were out there, and we walked in, and the spider dropped down, and we left Shannon out there.
We left a man behind.
The Marines never leave a man behind, but we did.
We totally did. That thing was like this big. It was huge.
That's what he said.
Yeah, it was it was a massive, ugly, killer spider.
It was bad.
Yes.
It was bad.
Yes, it was definitely a murderous.
That did happen.
A murderous spider.
Yes.
I mean, it would have killed for fun.
I killed a spider.
Yeah, that did happen. And then remember when Shannon wanted to steal your neighbor's dog?
Hey, Danielle, what's our number? What's our call-in number?
760-1556.
678?
Yes.
760-1556.
556.
I'm gonna call it now.
Why you don't call?
I'm just kidding. I'm not calling.
1556.
I'm not that weird.
We're going live. So everybody stop laughing.
Tighten up.
Be serious.
Don't say cocksucker.
And scene.
And we're back. And Siri just activated for some reason. All right. Oh, so Twitter and cable providers, DirecTV and because they have their season pass or something like that, right, Keith?
Yeah, they have the NFL package, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
it is.
Well,
yes.
Again, this demographic we're talking about, the one that's most attractive to the NFL, the under 35s, they're the ones that spend money on jerseys and go to bars and watch games and buy beer and eat food and if Bud Light's a freaking sponsor of their team, they'll drink Bud Light, that type of rubbish. Well, a lot of those have already cut the cord. They don't have cable. They don't have satellite or whatever. So DirecTV have already lost them. And I promise you Twitter will gain them. What it probably will do, though, is the ones that are left on DirecTV, it could encourage a lot more of those to go ahead and cut the cord and say, well, we don't need you now.
Well, this is just Thursday night football, correct?
It is, granted, it's just Thursday night games, but, let's say they watch this online, right? On Thursday nights, right. They start watching instead of going to a bar, or they're at a friend's and they hook up a laptop and they watch it on a big screen, and they think, oh, I wonder how we can get the rest of the NFL games online. And you can get the NFL app and you can subscribe to it independent of DirecTV. And I think a lot of users will start to actually research this and figure out that you no longer need a cable provider or a satellite provider to get access to your content. You can stream games using the NFL app with a subscription on your iPad or your computer. So, I mean, as far as I know, on Saturdays, on Sundays, or whatever it is, you can. Twitter only have the rights to Thursday night games. Other streaming providers have rights to the other games. So it's possible that all the other games, they may even be available for free, just like the games on Twitter are going to be available for free.
No, I guarantee they're not available for free.
I mean, chances are they're not, but
I'm not sure how Twitter is going to market this, but I would imagine they're going
to advertise the hell out of it.
Yeah, they're going to charge some way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure there'll be. Well, wouldn't you think there'll be commercials or something?
Yeah, there'll definitely be something that offsets the cost.
Yeah, but possibly. I'll do a quick search real quick and see if NFL.
What are you searching?
I just can't see them forking out $10 million to just go, hey, we're going to do this wonderful service for you.
Y'all, let's hang out on Thursday nights.
Yes.
But if they think that the payoff is going to be additional subscribers, like subscribers that they don't already have.
Well, plus they'll be putting their ads in front of they'll be getting Twitter keeps the ad revenue out of this, by the way, and Twitter gets a portion of the ad revenue from that is shown during the games. So Twitter actually not only got it cheap, they're getting a great deal out of the ad revenue. So there's definitely money in this for Twitter, in addition to hopefully new subscribers, and the benefit to the NFL is getting their stuff in front of their prime demographic. So it's good all the way around. Yeah, you can buy an NFL Game Pass or some nonsense like that so that you can stream online. So I think once people start to figure this out, I think more and more, well, we know more and more people are cutting the cord, right? It starts off slow and it accelerates, just like people with their home phone lines.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I have a service where I can download the latest shows, and
Yeah,
they just show up, and then I can view them at my leisure. Because as you know, I have a early bedtime of 9 p.m. because I got to be into work at like a god awful hour, but. So I wind up downloading a lot of shows, and
What
they
service
show
do
up
you
the
use?
next days. So right now I've been using Usenet news feeds because they have all the shows.
Okay.
So I just use those.
Did you dump cable? Do you not
No,
Okay.
I'm approaching that point
have?
where
Okay.
I can dump cable. The problem I have with dumping cable is I lose the live sports.
Right.
And that's where this Twitter thing becomes a big draw.
Right.
If I can watch the Bulldogs,
Right.
then okay, that's a huge tick mark off the checklist. If I can
Right.
watch, maybe I used to watch a lot of NASCAR. Now I'm not so much in NASCAR, but I do like IRL racing and Formula One. So if I can still watch some of that, but you can't get those online.
Okay. Right.
Most of the shows that are prime time, you can just get online and they're available.
Right.
yeah.
Like a day later.
Right.
Not a problem.
Yeah, and there are sources like Hulu where you can get them, an official licensed stream of TV shows, and then there are applications that you can load up onto your media server that will go out and find them, torrent them, for example.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
If you ask me, these networks should be making all their shows available to me for free anyway, because they get to use our airwaves for free.
I mean,
virtually for
I'm
free.
thinking that if I was a network, I would just put the stream out there with, your typical number of commercials. What does it hurt?
Yeah, I agree. Put them out there, show the commercials while they do it. That's how I watch. That's how I watch the Walking Dead. I use the AMC app, and they show commercials. Now they show the same commercial 6 times in a row because their stream is screwed up. But that's what they do. But then, of course, I have nice friends as well, because that let me use their AT&T Uverse app, for example, or their DirecTV app.
It's nice to have friends.
It is. It is. So that's kind of fun.
So are you up to date on The Walking Dead?
Yes,
Was-
I am.
Was there one this week? If there was one this week, I'm one behind.
No,
the last
week
one
was the
last Sunday.
finale. The last week they introduced Negan.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I saw that one.
Yeah,
Okay,
Then I'm
was the
good.
last
that
one.
was the season finale, the
Okay.
cliffhanger.
They've left you
so-
hanging.
Right. Right.
Now,
right.
if they
okay.
if they stay true to the comic, It was the little
was
Asian
Glenn.
kid that died.
Yes.
Yeah, Glenn.
But here's the kicker. Abraham in the comic was the one who died with the arrow in his eye
Yeah, rather than the girl.
rather
I
than
was
Denise
so ready
the
for her to be
doctor.
dead. I was so ready for her to die.
And so at this point, anybody
Oh,
is up for grabs because Abraham could be the guy that got smashed in the head.
well, and I
Just-
thought Glenn should already have been dead. No, I thought he was
No,
already on
Glenn in the comic died by Lucille.
Oh, okay.
All right, so he got his head completely smashed. His eye was like
Okay, we get it.
it was very, very graphic.
He was cartoon obliterated by a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire,
Yes.
which is Lucille. by
Or
the way.
Bob War, as my people would say.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into the Talking Dead.
But we
I
could.
just thought it was funny.
We could
Yeah.
talk
No.
about it.
Yeah. Anyway.
I really think that they kind of said everybody has let it out that Glenn is the one that dies. We're not going to let you think that, and you're going to have to figure it out, for 8 months or 6 months or whatever it is.
Yeah. And the producer said there are some clues in that last scene.
Yeah.
So that's
There
all it's
are.
going to be now. Yeah, that's all it's going to be now. Now, I hope next season they don't do what they did this season and split it into 2 parts with like 3 months in between.
I think they will
Yeah.
because they can, because people tolerate it. You know?
That just annoys me. All right, so what we got? All right, so I'm in the middle of a Google Photos experiment. We've been talking about that, right, Dan?
Yes,
and
we
I was
have.
wondering, I was trying to figure out how I would be able to use Apple's iCloud Photos and Google Photos at the same time without destroying one or the other. Well, here's what I did. At home, I still have my photo library, which is hooked up to iCloud Photos, and I've turned off iCloud Photos on both my iPad and my iPhone, and installed Google Photos. So my machine at home. Oh, Oz is here. Oz is here. Let's jump to a quick break. And while I go get Oz, and then we'll get back into this, okay?
Okay.
And I may have a phone call coming in as well, so we'll be back in a minute. All right, bear with me, guys. I'm going to go grab Oz.
All right. I think Keith is away. I'll tell him when he gets back.
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I don't see you. Why don't I see you?
Because you're looking at my ceiling.
Oh. There you are.
Here I is.
Glad I didn't say anything naughty
Well,
or untoward about you.
And another thing I don't like about Keith.
Dick.
And by the way, you guys lied about me last episode.
What'd we say?
Yeah, I know. I heard you.
Well,
I called in. Called in with a question.
You said that I didn't
Oz
fall
will be
asleep,
in-
and I in fact did.
Oh, I was trying to
That's-
defend you.
I know. That's
Because
why my
before we
iPad.
said you
I
had
woke
fallen
up about
asleep
2 in
and
the
you got
morning.
mad.
My iPad was on the floor, and Alex's face was on my TV, and I was like,
That is
here I go.
hysterical.
I fell asleep again.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, well, all we saw was the kitty, and then you were just gone. So I thought you'd gotten up and gone to bed. But no, you had actually passed out on the show. That's awesome.
I had, yes.
Taking a disco nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That magic hour of 9 o'clock hits me, and I'm done.
What time do you have to get up to go to work?
I'm up at
Yeah,
5 in
I
the morning.
I heard about
Oh,
that
Lord.
at the very last second. Who all was there? Okay. RJ and yeah.
All right, we have to behave
Yeah, that
ourselves.
surprised me.
I'm
Doesn't
not
surprise
really
me. I
good
was
at
talking
that.
with,
I just
by
don't
the
talk
way,
when there are
put your
grown-ups in the
headphones
studio.
on and let's do a level check real quick, and I'll introduce you to everybody in the Google Hangout there. And I just posted on the page that you just joined us in the studio. Let me hear you real quick.
Oz Nesbitt.
Okay, brilliant. Guys, this is Commissioner Oz Nesbitt. Oz, say hi, Danny.
Hey,
Hello.
Danny, how are you?
That's
Hi, it's
Danielle.
nice to
She's
meet
up
you.
in. Actually, let me just lock her up on the screen. This is Danielle. She's up in Minnesota,
Well,
and Danny's my co-host every week.
Hey
oh,
there.
how
Nice
wonderful.
to meet you. Thank you
Nice
so much
meeting
for
you.
joining us.
Yes, it's good to be here.
It was so odd because we were talking about the debates coming up, and we were talking about you being on the show this morning, and then I got a message from you. Also, we've got my friend Keith here. He's over in Lawrenceville.
Keith, how are you this evening?
Hey, Commissioner, how you doing?
Super fantastic. Good to be here with you guys.
He'll make you call him Oz, by the way.
Yes.
He won't.
I have to be formal at least at first.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
But no, I was saying to them, in fact, I was saying to my audience and to these guys in the chat that the debate's coming up on April 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
The chairman has decided not to go.
Is that so?
Yeah, he's not going to be at our debate, and I honestly wasn't surprised. I was saying I never see Richard out and about. I never see him in public. I've spoken to him once on the phone for an hour or so when we were talking about it was something to do with the sheriff's office, and he's like the invisible man.
Well, I'll let you have that part of the conversation, and I'll say this about what the people are looking for here in Rockdale County. They want accessibility. They want a chairman that's going to be accessible,
Right.
A chairman that's going to be real, relevant, and responsive. And all of that means being hands-on and being in the trenches in the community. And that's where I like to be, where the people are. And that way you can hear what's going on, you can talk to people, you can connect with folks, and you have the opportunity to educate and inform people about the process of what happens with government connected with community.
Right. Let me adjust this camera real quick before we get back from this break. Yeah, that was. I heard you on the show this morning. That was me that called in.
I remember.
And
you had
asked
some
a
very
question.
good questions too. And if you want to go through some of that again, I'm fine with that.
Absolutely, we can. I also now, before we get back from break, again there are some things I'm, you're in the middle of a race. I looked at your last tweet, and I was going to ask you about that, but it would require naming names, and I don't know if you want to do that.
Well, at this point, I think it's important that we be bold, we be ready, and we be better in terms of moving things forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't quite remember my last tweet, but bring it back to my memory.
An incumbent with no vision and no plan, another competitor with no real true commitment, and an opportunist.
Well,
now, I obviously know who the two are. But
Right. I like to say that that's pretty self-explanatory for those people
absolutely.
who are paying attention here in Rockdale County. You've heard it. It's almost a cliche to some degree that where there's no vision, the people will perish.
Mm-hmm.
And those people who just show up as a Johnny-come-lately and show up on the scene, particularly during election season or campaign season, the people in the community are not fools. They are aware of that. In fact, I think it's quite disrespectful for you to just pop up on the scene. You haven't been around. You haven't contributed anything. It seems like you are a clear opportunist. So people don't like that at all, and people can see straight through it.
I agree.
Wow.
I agree.
That's amazing. I wish we had that in my county.
This is why I'm saying I think Oz is going to win this election. I think he's pretty much got it wrapped up.
Well, we're not taking anything for granted. I think it's one of the number one things we've done. Team Oz, we got out here extremely early. I've been campaigning for an entire year already. And I think it's important because of the amount of ground that we have to cover, the number of citizens in Rockdale County, people and places. And I've learned more about my county this particular time around by really being out on the ground. And keep in mind, this is my third campaign here in Rockdale County. But this campaign has really elevated me to a level that I've been able to get into areas and going to meet people in places. Because I'm running for the chairman's seat, I've had to do things strategically different and go into places that I've not considered going in before.
Oz, we're about to go live again real quick. Give me 10 seconds, and then I'll introduce you, let everybody know that you came in, and we'll go from there. All right, we're back, and we are just lucky today. For the second time today, Commissioner Oz Nesbitt's in the studio. Oz, it's good to have you back. How are you?
Alex, it's great to be back. Great to be here again. Our good friends at Jets of Fun Radio here in Rockdale County and all of the surrounding areas. You guys do a great job with getting the message out. You're straight to the point. You're clear. You're engaging with the people. You are the voice of the people, and that's part of what makes you guys uniquely different, because you don't spare anything, and I like being a part of that, because I think it's important that when we're engaging with the community that we are real, relevant, and responsive. And certainly those 3 R's, you got them wrapped up, no doubt about it.
Well, we appreciate that. Now, you were in this morning, and I'll pick up. We'll have a little overlap, but I'll pick up where we left off this morning. And something that interests me greatly, you are currently our Post 1 commissioner, and you're now stepping down from that seat and running for chairman. Obviously, that's going to be an entirely different set of duties and responsibilities. Now, I have a couple of friends that are actually running in the Post 1 race. Tell me now. The reason I called in this morning was to clear up a little confusion, I think, with people listening and sending in messages. There are specific duties for Post 1, but in that position as Post 1 commissioner, you've kind of had your hands tied when it comes to policy and when it comes to actually getting things done and making changes. You've kind of come up against a brick wall in some respects. That's fair to say, I'm guessing?
That's more than a fair statement. That there's been a roadblock in terms of building collaboration between, I must say, the both Post 1 and Post 2 commissioner. Since you're talking about me, yes, there has been a roadblock to success in Rockdale County, simply because there hasn't been a cohesive level of understanding between the chairman's office and the other part-time commissioners. Let me bring a clear point here so people will understand. The Post 1 and Post 2 commissioners are chiefly responsible for allocating budget, appropriations, and dealing with the money.
Okay.
And as well as setting policy pertaining to local ordinances, rules, and regulations that govern our county and our community. In addition to that, because of my own personal passion for people in the community, I've, for the last 8 years, have gotten out in the community and being a part of that community, bringing different initiatives like the turkey drive that we do every year and give back the turkeys to the senior citizens, to eat the hams for Easter, the ready-to-work job fairs that we do. We've been able to partner up with the wonderful Thomas Chastain for the last 3 job fairs that he's been spearheading, and we give all the credit to him. But Ready to Work is a job readiness program where we come in and get you ready to seek for employment the proper way. And we've been able to partner up with Thomas Chastain with the job fairs and Rockdale Jobs Work.
Yeah, he mentioned that. He was on my show 2 or 3 weeks ago.
A fantastic young man.
Yeah, he's a really nice young man.
The future of Rockdale County. So, yes, you're absolutely right. There's been a roadblock to success in Rockdale County as it relates to what's coming out of the current chairman's office. And I think in order to move this community forward, it takes teamwork.
Yeah. It really does. Everybody has to kind of work together. And that's where my question led to this morning. If you're elected chairman, and I don't know if you want to get into specifics because you're in the middle of a campaign, or I should say, I guess, when you're elected chairman, really. I
appreciate that.
Your intention is to actually bring those 2 posts more into the fold so that you guys can work together on it, because it can't be just one person's it can't be one person's vision and one person's direction. It has to be everybody work. If we go that way, we're going to end up like they are in Washington. It's just going to be dead head-on gridlock, and you're going to end up with an authoritarian, running the show, making all of the decisions, and we don't need more of that.
Well, that won't happen under my watch, and you're absolutely right. It has to be a complete collaboration. There has to be cohesiveness, and what I want to do is encourage the Post 1 and Post 2 commissioners to do what I've done as Post 1 commissioner. Get involved. Get out in the trenches of the community. Talk to the people. Hear from the people. Because what I'm going to do is transition my activity as Post 1 into the chairman's office. My plans include being more involved in the community at a greater capacity, being able to do greater things for our community, to engage our young people, our citizens, our urban professionals, and being present for the people in Rockdale County. Now, being chairman, I will be able to spearhead more community initiatives that will move our county forward. I won't be able to do that without the help, the collaboration, and the cohesiveness of Post 1 and Post 2 commissioners. I don't want to discount their talents. I don't want to downplay the reasons why the same set of constituents have elected these very fine people to our office. So truly, and without question, I want them to be a very intimate part of helping us move this county forward. Absolutely.
Good. And that's what we need here. I think it's been too
inclusiveness.
Long with, inclusiveness. Very, very good. Now we're a tech show, all right. Okay. Here, well, we don't. We're supposed to be a tech show, and we talk about technology a lot. One of the things in the county that has one of the things that really interested me were some of the changes the sheriff made with their predictive crime system. So there's an example of where the county is moving forward with technology there. Great system, by the way. I'm sure you've seen it.
I'm more than familiar with it. I spent 15 years in law enforcement.
That's
my hometown down in Augusta, Georgia. I was with the Richmond County Sheriff's Department, the largest full-time sheriff's department in the state of Georgia, is 700 deputies strong. I spent 15 years there. One of the greatest things about me serving as Post 1 commissioner and then moving into the chairman's office is I have a clear background in public safety. Mm-hmm. And I understand the language and the jargon that's coming out of the sheriff's office. I get it, and I understand the necessity of the tools and resources that the sheriff needs to get his job done. Right. So I don't need to be a hindrance and enter into any kind of competition with the sheriff, but I need to partner up with him shoulder to shoulder to help keep the citizens of Rockdale County safe. When you talk about this predictive index, this allows the sheriff to be able to just about predict where the crimes are taking place the most, where they need to concentrate. There's something called a crime suppression team. He will deploy a certain group or number of deputies to a particular area at a certain time of day, at a certain season of the year. We're coming up on the summertime. Mm-hmm. So we know crime during the summer months, it will increase.
Right.
Through this predictive index, the sheriff's department will be able to use this technology to be as predictive as this technology will allow them to be, in addition to using common sense community policing. So you combine both. The common sense community policing along with this predictive index, now you have a better prepared and better skilled and a better equipped law enforcement officer moving through your neighborhood and moving through our streets.
And they're better able to allocate resources.
Absolutely.
And which will, ultimately end up with happier deputies as well.
And happier citizens, I must say, with a lower response time.
I'm actually very glad to hear, and I knew you were. I mean, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, and you're probably on Instagram.
I am on
so
Instagram.
I know that you into social media, which is an indication to me that you are technologically proficient, and it's nice to know. Because another question is, where else in the county, now as chairman, this is going to be one of your responsibilities, is improving our technology infrastructure and helping departments do or use technology more effectively. Are there any areas that you can think of off the top of your head that need work right now? I can think of one immediately. The water department's billing. I can't even get an electronic bill from Rockdale Water. I can now I do have the ability to go online and actually go. They use a third party online payment system.
Yes, sir.
But what I cannot get is an electronic bill.
Well, let me say this. I think it's time for us to move from a Mayberry mentality to a world-class thinking community. And in order to do that, we have to look at our technology and our infrastructure of our county government.
Mm-hmm.
And water department is just one example. But I'm going to come out of the water department just for a second and say this. When you talk about technology, there's no way to talk about it without talking about our IT and MIS department. That is the heartbeat of technology for all of county government. Well, for the last 4 years, we've had repeated incidents of non-productivity, including today, where department directors and employees are sitting at their workstations, at their cubicles, in their offices, and it's up, down, or there's hours where you have to sit there twiddling your thumb because you can't access your computer, and this continues to go over and over and over and over. Now, I understand we're talking about technology, so we expect some levels of flaws and interruptions.
Yeah, there's always some downtime.
Some every now and then.
Yeah.
But when we have continued repeated levels of non-productivity, almost 3 days out of a 5-day work week, and especially during peak performance times when people are trying to get critical key work done, it creates a problem, and we have ourselves paying for an employee who's being non-productive, and is only being non-productive simply because the tools and the resources that employee needs to get his job done successfully is not working operable. So there's a problem.
Yeah.
But there's a problem with leadership. So the chairman I hold accountable, as well as the department manager, or should I say in this case, the department director.
Mm-hmm.
We need to move past talking and move past getting results with some action. And there's a lot of things that needs to be done. So you talked about the example, or you used the example of the water department.
Yeah, now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about the water department. I just think it's kind of, it's old fashioned, right? Receiving a paper bill. In this day and age, I know a lot of people like to receive a paper bill. I don't. I like mine electronic. Send it to my email, and I'm good as gold. And surely that can't be that difficult to implement.
Well, for us to be actually writing hand receipts for a water bill, I mean, this is not the 70s.
Right.
This is not the 60s, and it's quite embarrassing. I will tell you that we do have a contract coming up for an electronic bill, so that's coming up on the horizon. I will give credit to our people inside of our staff who's working on that piece of technology and making that happen. But there's so much more in so many other areas to improve the infrastructure of Rockdale County, and that's just one aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, if your IT department aren't 100% on their game, then that means there's going to be downtime among every other department. So there's something I guess that's going to have to be looked at. I don't know. I imagine an audit at some point.
You're only as good as your weakest link, and you're absolutely right. One of the things I'm looking to do is do an audit, not of just an audit. Let me say it this way: an audit and an assessment of people and equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and guess what? Of practices.
Yeah.
You've heard of the term process engineer.
Yes.
You've heard of process engineer. So we have got to make sure that our processes and the day-to-day best practices are just that, best practices.
Mm-hmm.
To simply say that they are, but at the same time they're loaded with flaws and interruptions and downtime, then we're not practicing what we're preaching. So as the chairman, a part of my chief responsibility is to hold people accountable. And if I have the wrong people in the wrong places that are not helping us get the ball in the basket, guess what? I'm either going to have to put them on the bench or point them away from the team.
Which leads me to my next question. Again, this may be this may be a bit more information than you'd want to give out. There are a lot of third-party companies that provide these services, right? And they are then held responsible for what they do. Is it something you've ever heard discussed, being contracted out instead of being a county run?
the conversation of outsourcing in several of our departments, water department, our human resource department, our payroll department, those conversations have come up several times. And we are doing a little bit of outsourcing in some of our areas of county government right now.
Okay.
But let me just tell you, I'm not a fan or super fan of outsourcing, not at first. I want to see, can we tweak the system and use the talent that we have that's a part of our infrastructure to get these things worked and save the county money and save the taxpayers money by keeping it in-house. Ultimately, it's about delivering of services, okay? It's about those deliverables. And if we are not able to deliver the services at the highest level of a standard, then it's perhaps time for us to take a look at outsourcing some of those services that we provide to our citizens here in Rockdale County, whether they be an internal customer, a part of the government, or an external customer by way of a citizen or someone passing through Rockdale County. We must make sure the infrastructure is in place. So I'm not opposed to outsourcing. However, that's something that I don't want to rush into. I think we need to see, can we handle it within our own talent base of people in our own workforce. And if it ultimately turns out that we don't have the talent and we don't have the skill set to get it done, then we should consider outsourcing, but we need to make sure we do it in the most efficient way.
I have absolutely no doubt that it can be fixed internally. It's going to unfortunately require a bit of turnover in order to do it, but that then requires a leader that's willing to make those decisions. And you know,
you like the game of basketball?
I do, yeah.
So you've seen from time to time the coach brings players in
yes.
and off the court.
Yep.
Based upon the skill set that's needed in order to do what? Win the game.
That's right.
So
that's a very good analogy, actually. I like that. I like that. We're coming up on a break. And I'm going to have to set up the next segment because we skipped a segment. And when we come back, I know what I want to talk about. We'll get to it after the break. Yeah, it's tough, right? A lot of these are very tough decisions that you.
Well, I don't. Let me say this, and I think a lot of it has to do with my personality. I'm a tough love type of guy. Mm-hmm. I'm old school with my work ethics in terms of getting things done, but I'm not so old school to the point that I'm simply traditional. I understand that this is a fast-moving world that we're in, and you can't be stuck on a traditional climate. You have to be a part of a transitional world of getting things done. I said all that to say this: not that tough for me. I've been there 8 years. I've been on the ground. I've been able to do a real assessment of who's who and what's what. I've had a bird's eye view of what's really happening. Mm-hmm. So I believe that I'm perfectly positioned and in the right posture to transition from post one right into the chairman's office and keep moving and get the job done day one.
I agree.
Starting from day one.
Yeah, there's no on-the-job training required for you to take over the job.
Well, I think my training continues. One thing I like is continuous improvement, and I think it's important that I use the word relevant. Mm-hmm. And what keeps you relevant is staying
abreast with the issues.
Absolutely,
and,
absolutely.
Yeah, knowing what if you're not out talking and engaging with the people, you're never going to know what concerns the people have.
That is absolutely correct.
And that's, I think that's one of the bigger issues we face in the county right now. Another issue we face is, well, you mentioned it this morning. You said that, that there's a perception that we're turning into, what was it, South DeKalb County or East DeKalb County, I think you said.
Someone mentioned
Well, I guess we're on
someone mentioned that they were a little concerned that Rockdale County is becoming an East DeKalb or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't like hearing that at all because.
Well, I don't even see it. Me personally. A lot of it is the perception of crime, mm-hmm. right? And it purely is just a matter of perception of mm-hmm. crime. We have immediate access to information, and anything high profile is in front of your eyes within seconds, basically. I follow the sheriff on Twitter, and they've had a very transparent administration.
Right.
I've been in the county since 2000. I've never seen a crime. And that's all I can say to people. Well, how many crimes have you seen?
And
I've never seen a crime.
When you say you've never seen one, you mean you never actually eyewitnessed a crime?
Haven't been a victim of one in Rockdale and haven't witnessed one in Rockdale. And quite frankly, Oz, it's the only county I can say that about.
Oh.
I was robbed at gunpoint.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I was robbed at gunpoint in DeKalb County. Had 2 cars broken into in DeKalb County. Now this wasn't all in a matter of a week. It's been over time. I've never seen a crime take place. Now, this not a funny story, but it's a story. We were sat at Starbucks. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago. Sat in Starbucks, probably 4 or 5 of us sitting around a table, and one of the guys who was there, I didn't know who he was. He gets up, he walks off. Next thing we know, lights and sirens. He'd gone across the street to the SunTrust to rob it, and I think he used a BB gun. Do you remember that? When and they chased him and they found him hiding in some bushes. He didn't get any money or anything like that. I think they figured out he was using a BB gun or something. I didn't see it. I saw the response to it. But again, it was another example of our sheriff catching the criminal. And that's what they do. And I think the word is getting out that if you come to Rockdale and do that, you're going to get caught.
Listen, I can't wait to talk about this on the air.
We're going back right now.
Very good.
All right, we're back. And during the break there, Oz and I were talking about public safety. And we were talking about I brought up the perception of crime because I've been in the county now since the year 2000. And I have not been a victim of a crime in Rockdale County. I have not witnessed a crime in Rockdale County. And it's the only surrounding county, Gwinnett, DeKalb, and close by Fulton. It's the only county I can say that about, Oz. I've been victims of crime in all those other 3 counties, but never in Rockdale.
Well, that's good to hear. That is quite impressive.
Yeah, but I hear from people all the time. Oh, well, crime's really bad. Crime's getting bad, and to me, it's the perception of crime that's bad because we have we have instant access to media. We have a transparent sheriff's department that posts this information. I get it on Twitter immediately.
You're right.
Instantly.
So do I.
Which then links me over to Facebook and I can see what's going on. And I also know that if it's a breaking and entering or whatever it is, a car, I know that in a couple of days they're going to have a mugshot up on that page and they're going to be caught because and that's the message I think that's getting out to the surrounding counties. If you come to Rockdale, you're going to get caught.
Well, Alex, you're absolutely right that technology and social media has certainly drawn a bigger and brighter and bolder attention to Rockdale County. And I think it is the perception because there was once upon a time, Rockdale County was still this Sleepy Hollow community. And during that time, we did not have the level of technology. We certainly didn't have social media the way that we have it at our fingertips every day.
But I promise you, we still had crime.
We still had crime.
Right. It wasn't as visible.
It wasn't as visible or exploited the way it is. So here's the thing. Now that we live in the age of camera phones and all of this technology, information and access to information is almost instant. And you're absolutely right. So I think that we're getting a lot more attention in Rockdale County than we've had in previous years, and even with the news media. So people are hearing about things in Rockdale, and some of the locals are saying, oh, it's getting so bad here, it's getting so bad. Well, no, it's not. Some of the same kind of things were going on all along, but you just didn't have such instant access to it. And it gives the perception or makes one believe that, oh my goodness, so many things are going to Rock. I hate it when people say Rockdale is going to the dogs or it's getting bad. That's not true. What we're doing is giving you ready information right away. I like to know when the sheriff puts out an alert and lets us know that they're looking for a shoplifter, they're chasing a car, they're looking for a burglary suspect, they're looking for whatever the case may be. I like knowing that because I need to know my immediate surroundings, that I'm safe, and how to shut things down and perhaps put my household on lockdown if that incident is taking place within my immediate area. So it's great information.
I agree. This last 4 years, you know, I don't want to move away entirely from the commission, but this last 4 years has been the most transparent of the sheriff's office that I can ever remember, and I honestly think it's shown around the county.
Well, I think when you talk about the last 4 years, and we're talking about public safety here, you also have to take a look at the last 36 months in America. Law enforcement and the relationship between law enforcement and the community itself, people in the community, Black Lives Matters, what's going on with being a law enforcement officer right now. It's a tough time.
It's a strained relationship.
It's a tough time for law enforcement officers. It's a tough time for people in the community. So we have got to go back and recapture that sense of community between through community policing and getting to know our law enforcement officers and doing things outside of the box to bring people back together. Technology has taken a lot of that away from us simply because of the world of social media and all of these handheld devices. So what we remember in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, it doesn't exist anymore.
That's right.
So policing is totally different. I spent 15 years in law enforcement, as I said earlier. Guess what I didn't have? I didn't have a computer in my patrol car. I didn't have that. Absolutely. I did have a camera in the car in the 90s.
Yeah,
but I didn't have a body camera.
Yeah, and if you wanted to talk to somebody, you went and talked to them.
Or
you pick up a phone for sure. But
in my latter years, I had a cell phone. But my early years, guess what I had? A pager. Remember the pager?
Yes.
The beeper? When you would beat me or page me, I had to pull over, and guess what I would go to?
Go to a payphone. That's right.
Absolutely. So times have changed. Technology has changed everything. People are not as community as they used to be.
Right. And that comes back to you actually getting out there and being in public. You could have spent, you know, I won't say the last 8 years because, you know, this social media has developed a lot in the last 4 years, but you could have spent the last 4 years purely with a social media, you know what I'm saying? You could have spent it purely on social media and never gone out and met people, but that wasn't you.
And that won't happen. So let me just tell you, and I appreciate what you said to me earlier, that I seem to be pretty technology savvy, social media savvy. I think I do a decent job, if I may say myself, but I'm truly an old school kid, okay? So I would never lose my old school grip and wisdom and common sense approach to life that I have. I will never lose that. I don't want to ever lose it. But I'm also smart enough to understand that I have to surround myself with talented people, and I have to stay in tune and in touch with what's happening now. There goes that word again, relevant.
Exactly.
My young daughter, my young son, and the young people in my life help keep me relevant. I have an iPhone. I have a computer. I understand that you have to be on the cutting edge of technology, and you have to remain relevant in order to be able to move this community forward. So I take two things, and I think it's the best blend. My old school experience, as well as this new school approach to getting things done. And I kind of mix them together. And that's how I solve problems. That's how I approach people. And that's how I stay in the community. I'll always try to stay on the cutting edge of technology, but I would never leave that ground, door-to-door, boots on the ground, in the community, in your face, person-to-person approach to talking to people and being in turn, you know, with the community.
Good. And by the way, I don't care if you have an assistant, by the way. I don't care. I don't care if you have a secretary or an assistant that fills your calls. I said this morning, I was talking to Scott later in the day, and I said, you know, I'm not sure why that upset Mike so much, because, you know, I have a secretary to insulate me from the nonsense, right? They're a buffer. They filter down what needs to come to me. That's their job. So yeah, I'm just, you know, trying to just bring a little levity there. I don't care. Have as many assistants as you want.
Well, let me say this.
If it keeps you accessible.
There's no way in the world I can operate at the level that I plan to operate, with the vision and the level of leadership I plan to bring here in Rockdale County, without an administrative assistant.
Exactly.
I have to have someone to keep a schedule, keep me on task, keep me on point, appointment after appointment. But let me just tell you what I got to have. I got to have someone that embodies my spirit. And customer service is first and foremost. I have to have an individual that really represents and respects and reflects my theory and I say it all the time, Alex, attitude is everything. So that being said, someone that's going against the grain and only serving as my chief gatekeeper and not as my chief customer service representative, there's a problem. So
yeah, no, I understand. They are effectively they're an extension of you.
They're an extension of you. They're a reflection of you.
Yeah. In fact, they're the first impression of you.
And when people feel good by talking to me, meeting with me in my absence or when I'm not available, I need them to feel just as good as best as possible speaking with my administrative assistant, my secretary, and making sure when they walk away or leave that office, they know that the message is going to be given very clearly. It's going to be conveyed over. There's going to be a level of sense of urgency about whatever it is they came in the office about, and that they're going to get an appointment with me at my next available opportunity. Yep. And that's very, very important.
Now, obviously, you're going to be a lot busier as chairman, so I wouldn't expect the same level of access to you as we have right now. You're going to be a lot busier and a lot more responsibilities. But how's that going to affect you're a business owner? How are you going to handle that?
Well, this role as chairman of Rockdale County becomes a full-time responsibility.
Yeah.
So I will relinquish anything else that I'm doing, and I will take up the job of being the full-time chairman here in Rockdale County on a day-to-day basis. But let me say something to you. You just talked about the fact that you don't expect me to be as accessible.
I honestly wouldn't. You're going to be an awful lot busier as chair.
Let me say this to you. We just spent a good amount of time talking about technology and being on the cutting edge of things. Here's what's important. Number one, I've boasted about being very accessible in this county. I think that's probably the top thing that I'm most proud of, is being accessible where people can reach me.
Very much so.
Therefore, I need an administrative assistant who is just as savvy, tech savvy with social media, if not more than I am.
Sure. Yeah.
That as those people are connecting with the chairman's office by way of Facebook, by way of Twitter, by way of Instagram, we need someone. I have to have someone who can be responsive to those people who are using technology to interact with our chairman. So we're moving in a whole new dimension now. We're going in a whole new direction. In order to do that, I have to have people who bring the skill set and the talent who are relevant to the needs of the community and has the skill set and the talent to help us do that. And that means having someone who's tech savvy and really much more tech savvy than I am.
Well, that has a couple of benefits. Well, obviously a benefit to you. It frees up a little your time for county business. I've also found
and it's a new way of communicating with people.
Exactly. I've found that Twitter, for example, is one of the primary places I go to get customer service, right? It seems like companies, Comcast, they're renowned for awful customer service, right? Their support on Twitter is second to none. I mean, like, really, it's amazingly good.
The difference that Twitter brings is that it's very direct. It's very self-explanatory. There's no wondering. You talked about my tweets, some of my most recent tweets a moment ago, and you said, hey, do you want to name names? And then you went right away, and you said, well, you really don't have to name names because the way I was so descriptive in my tweet.
Yeah, everyone that read the tweet would know. Of course, we know who your two opponents are in the race anyway.
A fool would
know. So we know who your opponents in the race are anyway. So, but yeah, it's refreshing that you have a grasp on the technology, because it's very important. It's like I was saying with the sheriff's department. They've been on Twitter, they've been on Facebook. It's kept me informed and it's kept me engaged. I really hope that I would love to see the commission as a whole, the chair, I say yourself, the chairman and the two post 1, post 2 commissioners. I would like to see everything they do, all of their work, and even transcripts of meetings up on Facebook.
Well, without question, we're heading in that direction. And it's so clear and obvious that the trends that we're moving in terms of technology are going to force us into that direction. But one thing I don't want to glaze over is the fact that when we talk about not just technology in the chairman's office for the post 1 and post 2 commissioners. But let's take a look at our code enforcement division. People are living busy lifestyles, and they're not communicating the old traditional way that people used to do it. Okay. People are living their lives on the go.
Yes.
That means that they have to be able to access their community government, their county government through social media, through Twitter.
Yeah.
They need to be able to there should be an app on your mobile device that will allow you to pay your water bill.
Pay your water bill.
Also, there could be an app that can link you straight to the chairman's office, and you can engage with questions and concerns, and we can have someone inside a whatever the proper term in terms of the technology source to be able to be readily able to respond to those things within a reasonable amount of time. But it's moving into technology, the chairman's office, both the post 1 and post 2 commissioners, but also the water department, our human resource department. I should be able to apply right here using my handheld device for an opportunity, a career opportunity. And again, code enforcement.
Yeah. And an app. Of course, we have the website where a number of these things are available to us. But, an app on your phone, let's say just a generic Rockdale County Civics app or something, where you have access to all services and information and a method of communicating would be ideal. That would be fantastic. It would probably it would require, I think, dedicated staff in each department to that process of dealing with people.
Well, I think the number one thing it's going to require is an intelligent MIS and IT department and strong leadership in that department to be able to delegate and position that type of technology.
Get the right people in
place to make sure that if we implement something like this, the follow-up and the follow-through is clearly there on a day-to-day basis, so that it's not just something we're saying, but it's something that we're doing, and we have the right people to continue to engage with our community and our citizens. Absolutely.
I agree. I would also like to see with Facebook Live now going out to everybody, where you can broadcast live.
Right.
I would like to see all of the commission meetings broadcast direct to Facebook while they're going on, and maybe even somebody in the right there at the meeting who can field questions.
Well, Alex, you're making me laugh because when you're absolutely right, that's the new thing, that's the new wave of technology, and I see that happening as we move forward. I'm laughing because this current chairman still uses a newsletter.
Yeah,
and he boasts about a newsletter.
Yeah,
people hardly ever use their email anymore, let alone a newsletter that's coming through email. That is truly outdated and antiquated. That is not the new wave of technology. And at the same time, he talks about going green. Now, wait a minute. You talk about going green and paperless, but you're producing every quarter a paper newsletter that has to be printed out. We're not practicing what we're preaching there. And that shows the disconnect in terms of technology, vision, and leadership in the chairman's office. I hate to say it,
well,
but I have to keep it real and tell the truth.
Exactly. I mean, you have to tell it the way it is.
Chairman Odom has a newsletter. That's crazy. It's crazy.
It is kind of crazy. All right, we got another break, and then we'll come back for our last segment. Back in a few. Oh, okay, yeah, set it up. Good. So what do you think, Danielle? You like Oz?
You have me laughing about that newsletter.
Yeah, I know.
I had to mute my microphone. I was laughing.
Well, not just, I didn't say this over the air. Not only does he has a newsletter, he really boasts like this is cutting edge technology, a newsletter. He's not even set up with direct deposit.
Is he not really? For himself personally or for employees?
For himself.
Okay.
For himself, he still receives a paper check, a paper paycheck.
Maybe,
but he talks about going green and the green initiative. Wait a minute. You're really contradicting yourself as the chairman of the county. Now, Danielle, if you think you were choking up over that newsletter, what do you think about the fact that he still gets a hard copy check?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of 1992.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean that's somebody that just hasn't adapted to the what I consider newer and better ways. And if he hasn't adapted to these newer and better ways, what other things is he not gonna? Or now I'm not gonna say that we're behind the curve in Rockdale County, because I don't believe we are. When you look at look at our parks, for example, some of the best parks I think some of the best parks in Metro Atlanta. I love going to using our walking trails and going to our parks. We have Danielle at a park I go to, Johnson Park. They even have gym equipment spaced around the walking trails, so
Oh, wow.
you can walk, you can exercise, and we've done a great job with those. But it makes you wonder where, if we're not lagging behind right now, where will we be lagging behind in the near future under that style of leadership?
Well, I'm going to think very optimistic and believe that we're not going to be lagging behind, because we got a new chairman that's getting ready to come into the chairman's office here in Rockdale County. And I don't say that in a boastful or an arrogant way. In fact, I say it in the most humble way that I can say. The people of Rockdale County are ready for results. I feel confident that we've done a good thing, a good work in our community, and that the people are going to do right by putting us where we need to be to serve our community on a greater scale. I really believe that in my heart.
Yeah, I think, well, like I said, before you arrived, before I even knew you were coming on the show, I'd already said to these guys, I think, I don't want to tempt fate or anything like that, but I think you've pretty much got this election sewn up.
Well,
but we'll see. Again,
listen, I receive what you're saying, and I believe that you're right, you're correct. That's the way we're thinking. Let me just tell you.
But it's still hard work moving forward.
We're going to work until 7 o'clock on election night. Anybody that knows anything about Oz Nesbitt, my work ethic is second to none. I'm a pit bull when it comes to getting out there and being a part of things that I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate about this community.
Yep. And I think that's shown, to be honest with you, everywhere you go.
It's about the respect for the people and not taking them for granted, too, Alex.
Even the times, you and I have bumped into each other at Starbucks and just sat and had conversations. And there is always that passion there.
I can't fake my involvement. It really is in my DNA. And here's the thing I said to a good friend the other day. If you did your real research and homework about Oz Nesbitt from the time I spent in my hometown, Augusta, Georgia, and the 15 years I served on the sheriff's department, taught the DARE program, was a part of the DUI task force, and ultimately a part of the public relations division of the sheriff's office, people know I spent 4 years on the CBS affiliate as the morning traffic reporter, 4 years on the local V103 station there in Augusta, giving the morning traffic report. I love people. Genuinely, I love community. My gift is public speaking. I enjoy talking. So there's an opportunity to take the gift and really allow it to evolve into a ministry, and now to be able to serve. What do you do with a ministry? You serve.
Well, and hopefully you can get and this is key to everything. Local elections, most people's experience with local elections is driving down the road and seeing a name on a sign. Right. And even fewer bother to open Google and search and research those candidates. So I think like 90% of people are voting blind. Right. I swear, I think most people are looking at the name they see the most on the signs and voting for it. I want to see that change. I would like to see a government that's so open and so accessible, and information is so easily obtained that everybody is educated on the issues and they know what problems we're facing and they know what our county commissioners are doing to address those problems. That all comes down to technology.
I want you to say all of that over the air, because I think it's important that people are educated on that level, Alex, and understanding a lot of basic things. One of the things that was pointed out this morning, Danielle, was that folks think that because of my level of visibility in the community, people really thought that I was in the office all day, every day as a full-time commissioner. Full-time meaning that's the work that I do all day, every day. Right. When the reality of it is that I have another job, another responsibility. I only receive $25,000 a year to serve as a part-time commissioner.
Mhm.
The pay, Alex, Danielle, is part-time.
Yeah.
But the responsibility is full-time.
Yeah.
And because of my level of commitment to the community, I think I've kind of hurt myself to some degree, because some people think I'm already the chairman. And when you say county commissioner, the name that comes to people's mind the most is Oz Nesbitt.
It is.
And,
I mean,
and
it is. That's an unfortunate reality for our existing chairman, but plays very well for you going into this election.
absolutely. And we plan to continue that type of relationship with our people.
Yeah. I mean, I see you on Facebook. I see you at the very least, every single weekend you're out doing something in the community, or meeting with people, meeting with community organizations. You're out doing something face to face with people. Now, I don't even know if our chairman has a Facebook page.
Well, he's had a Facebook page. We need to talk about this on the air as well. He's had a Facebook page now for the last 6 months.
6 months.
Because of this election.
Since the campaign.
Because of this campaign. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's always managing it himself.
Well, I doubt he is. Now,
in fact, you
again,
can put his name in right now and pull it up if you want to take a look at it.
I probably will. Now, I will say this, though. Managing it himself, you're right. He's probably not. However, even that when you're the chairman, you even said yourself, you need somebody who's savvy in that media, because you also you're not going to be tweeting 24/7 now.
Listen, I'm not going to be totally removed from Facebook, but I'm not going to sit here and say something very unintelligent that I'm going to be on Facebook as nearly as much as I'm on there now, because I can't get the work done as chairman.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Whoever is responsible for your calendar can now be responsible for posting those updates to Facebook.
Absolutely.
And keeping us abreast of what's going on. Anything personal, you still deal with yourself.
That's right.
Or not personal, but anything that requires your touch.
I know.
You deal with
I understand
yourself.
exactly what you're saying.
So yeah. However, our existing chairman, he probably doesn't do any of it. I'm gonna go look on Facebook. This will be interesting. Yeah, because I didn't even know he had one. There he is. Huh?
Danielle, did you have any questions or concerns that you wanted to chime in on about some things you wanted to ask me while I'm here?
Oz, I am I'm not teaching now, but I was a teacher for a dozen years. So that's sort of where my heart is in education. Does that fall under your responsibilities, the schools?
It does not fall under my direct responsibility, but one of the things about county government from where I sit in the Board of Commissioners office, I think it's important that the chairman have a very robust and healthy relationship with the school superintendent, as well as the chairman of the school board, so that we can collaborate about how to better serve the community and the kids of the community. There are things and amenities that the county government can partner up with the local schools, whether it's an after-school program, whether it's a summer program, whether it's using a facility, a gym, or whatever we have going on through our Parks and Rec facility, along with some of the local schools. So having that collaboration with our local school system, although we're two separate government entities, is very important to have. And because the makeup of Rockdale County, we're about 90,000 residents strong. We have 3 high schools, 3 middle schools, and 23 elementary schools. And it's important that we have a good relationship with our local school system.
Well, we're about to go back on, Danny. I don't want to continue talking about this when we go back on. Then we'll go back over the other things we talked about.
All right, that's right.
Okay.
All right, we're back. During the break, Danielle and Oz were talking about education, and Oz was pointing out the importance of a strong relationship between the chairman and the school board. Without putting anybody on the spot, how is the current relationship between the chairman and the school board?
I think it's fair. I don't really know. I think it's fair. I know the folks over at the school system, they're nice, they're professional, and they're cordial, and they should be. But I'm not sure. Well, let me say this. Let me move forward a little bit and say this. There's been times that some basic knowledge about what's going to happen in terms of the growth and development with the local school in such a small and quaint community like Conyers and Rockdale County has been being discussed in the community, and the chairman has been absent from the knowledge of that information. Well, that's in itself speaks volume as to the relationship with the local school superintendent and the local school board president.
You would think, I mean, the way our schools are ranked, which unfortunately Rockdale schools don't have the best ranking, you would think the chairman would want to be implicitly involved in. I understand that the school board and the county commission are two completely separate entities.
They're two separate entities, but you're absolutely on the right track. Whatever happens in the schools with our kids will ultimately going to spill over into the community.
Exactly.
The sheriff's department is going to have to deal with some of these issues that's coming out of the school with misbehaving young people or corrective measures. So it's important that we have a good working relationship. It's important that we collaborate about ideas of how to improve the community. Whereas there are two separate entities, it's still important that we work together and we try to come up with solutions that can make a better Rockdale County. Go right ahead, Danielle.
And Alex, you and I have talked about property values there in Rockdale County, and property values are directly, I'm a realtor now, and I can tell you from personal experience, property values are directly affected by the quality of schools and the people's impression of the quality of schools. If somebody thinks that schools in an area are bad, they're not going to buy houses there. I mean,
that is the number. She's right on point.
Yeah,
Alex, Danielle, you're right on point. That's the number one reason that people select or choose a place, a particular community to live in, is based upon the quality of schools that are inside of that community. And it is ultimately important that we have that relationship with our school system. Plus, it should be a part of our marketing package that we market to potential economic development opportunity in terms of marketing, in terms of manufacturing and industrial opportunities, and bringing growth to our community. We should be able to almost boast about having a high standard quality school system. And again, it should be a part of our marketing package.
Yeah, I agree. This all ties back into something we were talking about during the break, and that's people's, well, first of all, government, I don't want to say transparency, government outreach and people's access to information. For example, I was talking about the election that's coming up, and I believe that during local elections, they're not engaged the way they are on a national level, and I think most people's exposure to the election is driving down the road and seeing signs. Right. And I also hate to think this is true, but I think it is. I think a lot of people vote for the name they see on the most signs, right?
Or the name they remember.
Yeah, if they see.
Say that again, Danielle.
The name that they remember.
It's the name
recognition. Name recognition, yeah. Absolutely.
What I would like to see from everybody, from the commissioners, from all departments, from the school board, from everybody, is ease of access to information that people can get to. Facebook could be it, right? Facebook, the way the sheriff's department has done theirs, the way I imagine you're going to plan to run a commission Facebook page when you get into office, the way I hope the school board will, so that we have the general public can get access to that information easily, understand what's going on, know what their representatives are doing for them, and also, by the way, in the case of the schools, be able to hold them accountable if need be. Do you see what I'm saying? All of that comes back to technology.
You're absolutely right. Let me tell you, we lost an employee by the name of Sean Kimball. Sean Kimball worked in our public relations department and innovative affairs department. Sean was a 13, 14-year employee at Rockdale County. The truth is, Sean was the heartbeat and the pulse of that department. He is a very successful young man. He's transitioned from the county and now operates his own media business out here in the community, and he's doing quite well, to my understanding.
Okay.
But we lost that institutional knowledge of a person who's been on board with us about 13, 14 years, but also someone who stays on the cutting edge of technology. This young man operates drones. He understands live streaming. He understands what's happening with Facebook and all of social media in terms of how to keep us connected and keep us relevant with what's going on in our community. You're absolutely right. I'm looking forward to a day that a Board of Commissioners meeting is live, real time, streaming live, where people can access it in their break room, on their mobile device, while it's actually happening right then.
Yeah.
And what about having someone at a workstation or a computer desk where people are able to engage with questions to their commissioners during the live meeting? Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
So
yeah. I would also like to see not live or I'm going to say online, be able to go online to planning and zoning or engineering, planning and development, engineering, and get updates for sure for permitting, but also to get updates on plan reviews and things like that, to see what stage of the review
plan
process,
reviews,
which department it's
changes
in.
and amendments to ordinances, any type of revisions that are taking place. These types of things should be broadcast and advertised in the community, and it shouldn't be a culture shock when people learn of a change that we've made inside of Rockdale County.
Yep.
Here's the thing.
Also an online record search.
Online record search. Oh my goodness. I mean, you're really giving me a lot of things to talk about here that are part of what we're talking about, moving the infrastructure and moving this new technology with the new direction that I plan to go in.
So these are ongoing discussions. Good.
These are several things that we're talking about. Let me give you an example of something that's pretty basic. So when there's an intersection that any of the traffic engineers hang a new traffic signal, that traffic signal goes on flash usually a minimum of 2 weeks. It may be longer in some cases,
right? Because
they're trying to sink in the heads of the motorists that this traffic signal is going to be activated. Yeah. And in some communities, they actually go a little step farther by posting up a sign saying that it will be activated on such and such date. It is so important that when we make changes and revisions to our current ordinances and do any type of planning and zoning improvement, we're going from an R1 to a C1 to a C2 or whatever the case may be, from commercial to residential. We need to broadcast that. We need to make sure that the community and the public has been made aware of these changes so that they can keep up with what's going on inside of their community. I like to have a Board of Commissioners meeting outside of the four walls of the county campus. I want to hold town hall meetings at the local restaurant.
I think it's I've always said it's Starbucks.
At Starbucks,
yeah.
At Panera Bread, and I want to do it at the church annex, or perhaps at the school auditorium or the school gym.
I mean, if ever there was a community meeting place in Rockdale, it's Starbucks. You know this. You're there all the time.
I was there twice yesterday.
Right.
Absolutely.
You're there all the time.
I'm there all the time.
I've said that the sheriff should come out and meet people at the Starbucks and talk to them and, engage. And I think everybody should. All even department heads could come out and just have a meet and greet. You were a meet and greet today. They could all have a meet and greet at a Starbucks.
We've set a precedence in the community. Team Oz has set a strong precedence by being a very hands-on, accessible, and tangible in the community. I think moving forward, we're going to, without question, continue that. And I think a lot of the other elected officials are going to get on board with the wave and the movement that we have going on. And I have to say that it's more than an election for us. It's a movement. Absolutely.
While we're talking about planning and development, sewer capacity, I think our growth, now you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think our growth is being stunted by a lack of sewer capacity. Is that a fair assessment?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Our growth as a community is kind of being stunted, like new developments, because of a lack of sewer capacity. We're right there at the limit.
You're absolutely right. We've got a lot of work to do in that area in terms of increasing our capacity.
Yeah.
There is some study going on right now. There is some conversation that's going on right now. But I'm sad to report there's been conversation going on for a long time, and it's time to move from conversation to action. Because here's the thing: if we're going to address the problem of economic development and unemployment with having a rate of 6.9% in a county of only about 90,000 residents, then guess what we're going to have to do? Think not just outside of the box, but way outside of the box. And we're going to have to really grow up in that particular category to do what we need to do to build up our infrastructure so that we can attract the type of industry and manufacturing opportunities in our community to put people back to work. Keep in mind, the majority of the residents and the workforce in Rockdale County is still a blue-collar community.
That's true. The discussions that are taking place about sewer, about our infrastructure and sewer, is this just within the county, or are we talking about a multiple county endeavor to increase capacity?
Well,
because it's going to be very, very expensive.
Well, it's going to be very expensive, but here's the thing. When we talk about sewer capacity, first we do have to deal with what's going on with our own personal, private, local Rockdale infrastructure. Yes. But when we talk about economic development, we have to think in a regional type mindset. We can't do it just on our own. We have to have a relationship with the folks over in DeKalb County, Walton, Henry, and Newton County. Those counties, as you know, as well as Henry County, they all border on the edge of Rockdale County in many different kind of ways.
Right.
But in order for us to grow, and we talk about growing this community from the standpoint of attracting those types of businesses that can set up shop in our community and help put people back to work, we have got to improve our infrastructure. And you're talking about the capacity of our sewer system. That is something that's on the top of the list that we have to move past the conversation and
I think that's going to rapidly become a pressing
I don't
issue.
want to end this show tonight without talking about this point here. Whenever you talk about making improvements, building a new firehouse, building a new gym, building a water park, expanding the sewer capacity, that takes what?
It takes money.
It takes money.
A lot of money.
Right. But I believe that the citizens of Rockdale County will get behind a campaign and an initiative when we educate them on how the funds and how the monies are going to be used to help improve and grow our community. Now, when we do like some of these surrounding communities and they just try to do things and they don't educate and inform their citizenry, you're going to have a problem.
Exactly.
I don't want to be a part of that. Transparency must be at the top of the top of the chart in terms of us doing what we need to do.
I agree. I mean, everybody wants to know where their money's going. And nowadays people want to know before they even agree to pay it, where that money's going. And of course that's a tough balancing act for you have to prioritize what our capital, what our projects are going to be. And I'm assuming that you work together with the other commissioners and come up with the plans that really are best for the county. But like, for example, I'd love to see a dog park, but it's not a priority.
Well, that was one of the things that I explored as well.
Yeah.
It's not a priority, but it's another one of those quality of life amenities because there are so many people that leave Rockdale County and go over to Lenore Church up in Gwinnett, or they go down to Henry County to the dog park there. But there are ways to do this, not just with taxpayers' dollars, but through public-private partnerships.
Yeah.
And there's companies that are out there waiting for Rockdale County. Let me tell you, as chairman, I'm the chief ambassador for the community. So another one of my responsibilities is to go out and build those relationships and to usher in opportunities for our community and say to folks, have you considered Rockdale County? And if you haven't, please do. But come down here, let me give you a tour of my community. We've got to turn Rockdale County into a destination location. It can no longer be simply a place along the I-20 corridor, westbound or eastbound, where people are just passing through. There are 3 gateway entrances to Rockdale County. We've got to give people a good enough reason as they're traveling west or eastbound on I-20 to say, whoa, wait a minute, let's get off here and go to Conyers. Let's go to Rockdale County because there's something particular or specific that they want to buy or do or see or engage in a positive way in Rockdale County. We've got to become a destination location, and there's a way to do it through marketing and branding and making sure that we are the kind of community that people want to be a part of.
Yeah, I would, one thing we have at our disposal already that's already built and paid for is the horse park. We could be doing a lot at the horse park, for example, attracting, other fairs and festivals. And were you at the Cherry Blossom Festival?
I was at the Cherry Blossom Festival. I sure was. And here's the thing.
I must have missed you. I was there Saturday afternoon. I got there about 3:00.
I was there early Saturday morning and again part on Sunday. But let me say this to you, Alex. One of the most confusing things about Rockdale County, and it's one of the things, is that the horse park, although it's out in the unincorporated area of Rockdale County, it is owned and operated by the city of county. By the city of Conyers.
Oh, is it really?
It's owned and operated by the city of Conyers, although it's inside the unincorporated area of Rockdale County.
How is your right now as Post 1 commissioner? How's your working relationship with the city? Is it good?
It is outstanding.
Okay, good.
I have the mayor's cell phone number right here in my phone. I have the city manager, Mr. Tony Lucas, his cell phone number right here. And I also have the chief operating officer, Mr. David Spann, his phone number right here in my phone. We often collaborate on different things. We socialize together throughout the community. I have a very good working relationship with the city, and I'm looking to improve on that, and should I say build on that, because the city is moving fast with a lot of initiatives that they're doing in terms of their upcoming new city hall. And I think because of the way we look as a community, it's important that the consistency, or should I say the word continuity, of our structures, if they're not the same, they're very similar. And it just makes good sense that we don't look like a mixed match community being this small.
It makes perfect sense. You don't want to give the impression of a divide or
absolutely.
If the two governments don't have to be as one, but they can be contiguous to each other.
They certainly can.
All right. Well, Oz, I've had a lot of fun. I'm really glad you came in tonight.
Well, you given me another format tonight, another opportunity to talk to your listenership, and I really appreciate that. And I also want to make sure that I don't end without telling people the best way to get a hold of Oz Nesbitt is to text me. I got a lot going on. There's really about 35 days left to this May 24th election day. You're listening out there, people. I really do appreciate your support. I'm asking you to vote for Oz Nesbitt as the next chairman to move Rockdale County forward here in our community. The best way to reach me, 770-624-9446. Again, the number is 770-624-9446. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm right there. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm in your community. I love to come to your homeowners association, your church, your child's school. I love to be a part of your community. I'm your chairman. I'm your commissioner, Post 1 right now. I'm looking to be your next chairman here in Rockdale County to move us forward to becoming a world-class community. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alex, for having me here on the show.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm really, it's nice to know that you understand the technology behind all of this and what it's going to require moving forward, because I'm not sure that the others do, but maybe I'll find out. I'll reach a hand out to RJ and see if he wants to come in.
Well, we've already discussed the fact that Chairman Oden operates with a paper check.
Yeah, well,
and he just got on Facebook 6 months ago, and we're not totally clear that he's actually navigating his Facebook page himself.
That's right.
When he talks about having a green community, but he gets a paper check.
I guess I should have been more specific. When I say the other, I meant RJ. I've kind of ruled Richard out.
Well, I'm not sure if they are going to come on here or not.
Well, I don't know. I'll reach out to RJ and ask him. I know it would be kind of a waste of my time with the chairman, but who knows? I'll extend an invitation and see, because you said this morning it's in their best interest to come in and get their message out.
Anyone that's running for public office right now that would turn down or walk away from well, let me just say this. Guess what? JR didn't show up at the meet and greet we just had,
right?
And neither did Richard Odom. He didn't show up at the meet and greet this afternoon as well. So obviously, the people of Rockdale County is not nearly as important to them as they are to me.
Yep. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to talk to you about your watch when we get off air.
Okay.
That's a good looking watch. And your tie. I'm taking that tie.
You can have it, my friend. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, we really appreciate it. Danny, we'll just go ahead and wrap this up, and then we'll say goodnight to everybody. Say goodnight to Oz. Danielle, thank you very much. I'm sorry. You didn't get in on the show much this evening.
No, it was fantastic. It was very enjoyable. Oz, thank you so much for being here.
A pleasure meeting you, and look forward to joining you guys again, hopefully before this campaign and this election is over, become May 24th. Keep up the good work and keep championing the cause for our young people in terms of education. I know you're in real estate right now, and you're making sure that people are having beautiful, nice homes and properties to live on and raise their families and have healthy communities, but don't walk away from your passion from having your care and concern about the kids of our community as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And everybody, don't forget to come out to the debate on April 23rd, and you'll have an opportunity to pose your own questions to the candidates also. Now, obviously, they're going to be written down and vetted so that there's no,
chaos and calamity.
Right. It's going to be. I plan because I'll be moderating part of the debate.
Outstanding.
And my plan is to have a very civil issues-based debate, and just to get information out there, because we're getting to the point where we're going to need some specifics from the candidates, what their plans are for the county moving forward, and I think that's what I'm hoping for out of the debates.
I just got a text from one of the people that's listening to the show, and she says, "Tell Alex I love his accent. I love his voice. It's great to know that he's going to be a part of that debate." She says, "Tell him I'm going to be there."
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice.
I look forward to seeing everybody out there. I look forward to having all the candidates. I hope that Thomas can make it. I don't know if he's going to be there that night. I hope he can, because I think he has a lot to say. I mean, he's done, I think, for a 25-year-old kid. He's done some good work.
Well, let me just say, Thomas is one to watch. He's done a phenomenal work in this community with the job fairs. I've just been blessed to be a part of what he's doing and to partner up with him. And it does say that the old school and the new school can come together. I'm old enough to be his dad, and this young man is doing some wonderful things. He has a job, he's gainfully employed, but he's concerned about the community. And that speaks volume.
It does. It really does. And I'm the same way, because I was telling, before he came on the show, I was talking to Danielle about it, and I said, I met this kid. I was talking to and I'm thinking, wait, I'm sat here, and he came on. I said, listen, I don't know if you heard the last show, and I didn't mean any offense, but I was calling you kid the whole night.
Well, let me one last thing I'm gonna say on that. Thomas was able, and he's hosted now 5 job fairs.
Right.
When I asked Chairman Oden about the county government facilitating and hosting a job fair, he said it wasn't in the budget and that we didn't have time to do that. It was something we were not going to do.
Yeah.
Well, here's this young man that's 25 years old, was able to pool his resources, and he's now hosted the 5th one coming up on May 11th, and I'm going to be a part of it again. He's done a phenomenal work. Now, how is it that this young man, kid, as you said, this young man, 25, 26-year-old, who's also now a candidate for Post 1 commissioner, can pool his resources and think outside of the box and make this happen and impact several people getting jobs in this community. He's done a great work.
Yeah, and that's what I think it's important that
he's one to watch.
I really wish, I hope he comes to the debate, because
another point,
I think he's been beneficial to the county.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Another point about Thomas is that he recognizes a gap in education between high school and that associate's degree, where I guess there are 2-year programs available down there, but there's not that avenue for people to get into programs that don't have that 2 years to go to school, that need to get like a certificate and go out and get a job. And he recognizes that and sees that there are places in the community where that exists that just aren't being developed, which that's amazing to me to see that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He gets it, and he advocates on behalf of that individual who's not the typical college student. And you talked about that gap between high school and the transition to obtaining a 2-year associate's degree, or actually getting into the workplace with a certification of some kind. And Thomas gets that, because as we know today, every young person not only is not college material, but doesn't have an interest in going to college.
Yeah, but also
the community should be able to facilitate different opportunities to cater to those needs and talents.
I'm going to tell you my idea, and this will take a couple of minutes, and then you can because now I'm just holding you up. Been a lot of talk about $15 minimum wage, and I think I have what I think is a better idea. I would call it, say, a youth training scheme or something like that. Whatever label they want to put on it is fine by me. It would provide instead of a higher minimum wage, a further education or training benefit to the employee, right? And it could be part tax relief. It could be, part mandate in something along those lines. And they get to use this either to go to college or, get some further education, but also a program that we don't hire, small business don't hire, say, apprentices anymore, right? They're always looking for somebody with experience. The youth training scheme would offer a partial subsidy for the salary of a new hire trainee employee to go through an apprenticeship and learn a trade, which would help the small business afford to hire a floor coming in on the ground floor. It would give them an incentive to train people, and it would give these kids a skill they can use for the rest of their lives, because you can get very, very wealthy, say, as a plumber or an electrician. You don't have to go to college.
Or truck driver.
Or a truck driver. You don't have to go to college to achieve the American dream.
Absolutely.
And I wish we would look at programs like that. I like to call it the youth training scheme, something like that.
When we talked with Daniel earlier about the county government partnering up with our local school system, this is the exact type of conversation we need to be having, because as we continue to understand that so many young people are not going to be the traditional type, leaving high school going straight to college.
Right.
And it's not a bad thing. I think a lot of us old schoolers, me included, we were made to believe that you had to have a college degree in order to do anything. And there was a period in American history where you really did have to have that college degree to receive a certain income. But there is a difference now with technology and the fast moving of infrastructure and technology, that when you find a young man or a young person, a young lady that is talented, and they have the skill set and they have the drive and the initiative to do things that are outside of the box in terms of becoming an entrepreneur, using their part of the arts, drama, dance, music, computer graphics and animation. There are so many things that you referenced. Starbucks here in Rockdale County is like an incubator. It's an opportunity hub for people that have different skills and mindsets to come together and collaborate and partner with one another. We have to facilitate even those trades that you talked about: wood shop, auto mechanic, fire science engineering for those young people who are interested in becoming a firefighter, child care, cosmetology, all of those things that we have to. Restaurant management is no longer something that you have to go get a business management degree in order to be an excellent restaurant manager. Right. You can get certificates in those programs and you can make great money. The folks over at Quick Trip, they make good money. A manager at Waffle House makes good money. And it's okay, and you don't have to be ashamed about having that type of employment source.
Managers at Quick Trip make great money
and
have great benefits.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, they're a great
and
company.
So does the managers over at Chick-fil-A.
To me, everything there is contingent on it beginning in high school. And I know at the local level, a lot of things are out of our control. It comes down from the feds. When I was in school in England, in high school, for the last 2 years, 2 weeks of my summer vacation were spent working for a company. It was called, they called it Work Experience, right? A very simple name for it. The schools built partnerships with local businesses, and every single student got placed for 2 weeks during their summer break at a business. Now, of course, here you've got certain labor laws and regulations to consider as well. They had already worked past that in England and worked out the details. But we also started vocational training in school as well, right? If you wanted to, if you could do, we have metal shop and workshop, and I started my engineering career in high school in England.
Wow.
And I would love to see stuff like that here. Obviously, out of your hands, out of most of our hands, and a lot of it's under the control of the federal
I don't think
government.
it's completely out of my hands. It's not a part of my day-to-day responsibility, but again, just a conversation like what we're having, having that with our school system leadership and having your finger on the pulse of what's needed in the community drives those types of initiative into fruition and bring them, it breathes life on them and bring them to life. And when you get past a concept of just talking about something and then writing it down, but bringing it into real life, it really will work out. But you have to start the conversation. It comes through relationships.
Well, after the election, maybe those are conversations you'll be able to get started in the community and maybe get the ball rolling on a couple of initiatives, because, I mean, what can it hurt, right?
Well, we got to take care of our youth, and by doing so, we reduce crime and we create better opportunities for us to become a more healthy community. And when you leave young people in a situation where they're idling, then certainly they become the devil's workshop.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Danielle, we've already run over. Thanks, Danny, for being on.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Again, Commissioner Nesbitt, thank you very much for coming on.
Me. It's been a pleasure.
And everybody, thank you for listening. We will be back next week. Tomorrow is the morning show and the world according to Mike, and Thursday is the Rough Edge. Tune in for those. We will see you next week. All right. Danielle, thank you.
You bet, buddy. Great show. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Nice meeting you, Danielle.
Nice to meet you.